if you can speak to me, infantile, how are you gonna speak if you're anyway? Talk to me about tonight's debate. What are you looking forward to? Who are you for? What policies do you like?
Do you want a space program? Do you not want a space program? Do you want to make your own draws or do you not? Let's decide this right now on
tonight on DINtv.
Oh, we got a caller. All right. We got a caller on Blab. What did that say?
Bastion. Hi, Bastion.
Bastion. What's up, bro?
DINtv.
Yeah, we can hear him perfectly.
We love Trump. He loves Trump.
I love Trump. Trump is so awesome. You know, he's just
Why?
like, huh?
Why?
Besides his great business practices and his great motivational speeches, it's fun.
There you go.
What did he just
you just summed it up for about 80% of his voters, maybe 90, because there's a difference in a Trump fan and a Trump supporter. Trump supporters have been to the website, they've read his plans. Trump fans just love him from TV, and they love that he's a mad, angry white man.
He just literally said, he was like, "Why do you love Trump?" He was like, "Why?" I think he just said that just to say, "Why do you like Trump?" And hang up. Like,
yeah, he just wanted to know why.
He just looked at me. He looked at me like disappointed.
Yeah, he was really. He was cute though.
I mean,
well,
for you,
we
girl.
can see that he was.
He looked like Edward. He looked like some Disney Channel kid.
He was young. We can see that he was definitely not. Okay, I'm gonna clear up this.
Yo,
I'll be right back. No. Oh, you got it. We could clearly see that he was a non-Trump supporter, but he looked like he was in a school, so he probably is not even of age to vote. But that brings me back to the young voters.
China's army, I think, is larger than ours, but ours is so spread out that we couldn't protect ourselves on our own home front. That's really what scares me the most.
You said ours is so spread out?
Yeah, we can't even protect ourselves on our own home front. We can't do it. We have too much coast. And too little people.
Well, we have the National Guard.
The National Guard is not enough. Now, honestly, if everybody was trained in weaponry and they upheld their Second Amendments, we wouldn't have to worry about that. Just go on Facebook. Because some jump off. Guess what? We got this.
Yeah.
But people are so fearful of guns. Half the country is scared of guns. The other half of the country wants guns, and that third in the middle don't even know what a gun is. So it's just like, well, if we have the right to bear arms in case of an upheaval, we should honestly learn gun safety, gun regulation, because that.
I do agree with that. I do.
Yeah, and how to use the term gun and not just say that you're going to get a gun to shoot people. Wes.
I didn't say I was going to shoot nobody. I said I was going to get a gun to protect myself.
Protect yourself from what? Yourself?
I might have to sometimes, shoot
He's
yourself in the
saying
foot.
that the Syrian refugees or anyone from a foreign country that.
Well, let me stay away because I already got one strike against me. I'm black, and West don't like that. So let me just stay away.
Oh my gosh! Kirill is saying that China is going to have the strongest army in the world. This is the reality.
I think
speaking of China. I've been because as you guys, I don't know if you guys know, but Jamaica's actually having their election year this year too.
Yes, and I've been seeing pray for Jamaica.
Yeah, because Jamaica is literally the second poorest place. I'm not gonna say country because it's not a country; it's an island. But basically, like the second in the world.
Okay.
And
after what, Haiti?
Yeah, Haiti's the first.
You mean to tell me like the far Africa?
Okay.
For real.
If it's not the oil states, then they're not talking about it.
Yeah, because if you think about it, what we really need to go into is Africa, because in there,
there's so much over there.
You think raping girls with fur coats is bad?
Yeah, they had genocides.
Yeah,
it's really horrible.
And this is genocide things that are happening every day.
Yeah,
but those are that. But see, the reason nobody messes with that is because that's Africans doing that to Africans. They don't care when that's going on. It's like, who do you?
Oh, kind of like Chicago.
Like exactly. Like when you go in there, who you supposed to
population control? Because that's the real problem in America, in the world. Actually, it's population. We have too many people here.
Oh man, we ain't got too many.
I'm not touching this because then it'll go over into the Democrats as well. Because I don't feel like the Republicans have done an adequate job talking about the violence that has been going on.
See some crazy shit tonight because the Republican Party is on fire. The RNC, as we know,
on fire in what regard?
If everybody's message goes from I'm gonna bring down taxes and I'm gonna stop immigration, and we're gonna build a wall. Everybody's message has gone from that to we gotta stop Trump. You know something is wrong. You know something is wrong. If every news media outlet, they're trying to figure out a way to stop Trump. They're like, well, okay, Kasich got to get out, and then, some of those votes might go to Rubio, but it's to the point now where if anybody else drops, all those votes are going to Trump, just because people are just hanging on for the hell of it. They're just hanging on for their favorite white man. I told y'all the other day that if they want to win, the 3 white men in the middle have to suck up their pride and drop out. And they got to do what? They got to go. You have to leave it up to Trump and Carson, because if people can honestly see intellect versus anger, I'm pretty sure nobody wants to. Everybody's saying anybody but Trump anyway.
Yes.
So if you can get one person up there to at least say,
I feel like that has become like the Democratic slogan: anybody but Trump.
Oh, man.
All right, so Aaron.
Oh.
Hi, this is Kevin calling from DINtv. Hello?
Your name, number,
Oh, recording.
The new thing trending right now on Twitter is which Hillary. They're going hard on Hillary, man. Hillary ain't gonna make it.
Hello, this is Kevin calling from DINtv, the producer. We are covering the Texas debate tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'd love your input and insight on the Republican candidates and your views. If you can give us a call at 786-802-3407 or visit our platform at DINtv.com. We'd be greatly appreciated. You have a great day, and we hope to hear from you soon. Bye.
Them old ass bushes.
No nonsense.
All right, you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and read some of Aaron, and I live for it. Hi. Okay, good. I'm saying hi to you. All right, so
this is on Meerkat. People on Meerkat and Periscope, please come over to www.dintv.com and chat with us directly.
Trump is a billionaire businessman.
He's getting sued by everybody too.
Am I still out of frame?
Okay. Now he's on my lap. Like he is just,
if I'm too close.
oh my gosh, I have no space. My personal space is invaded.
Oh, girl. Hopefully you can make your own jaws, girl. Okay.
Y'all, I'm telling you, y'all laughing now. Y'all laughing, hee ha ha. Okay.
You just laughed too, so you with us.
Well, give me your address so I know where to go, because you have a gun and shit. I don't have none of that. Trump is a billionaire businessman. People scream, true. But a couple of points here. A, he inherited his wealth from a father who made a name for himself.
Let me say something.
Most of his money. Hold on. Let's finish his statement. B, most of his money today comes by the way of his celebrity and not his business model. C, he has filed bankruptcy multiple times, which means he makes horrible decisions and has gone broke more than once. Can America afford bankruptcy?
Okay. A, I want somebody to represent me whose father had the onus to go out and work and leave their child an inheritance. That's what he comes from, and that's what he's doing for his children. That's what I want to represent me, because that's something I would like to do for my family and my kids.
Okay.
What was the second one?
The second point that he made was most of his money today comes by way of his celebrity influence and not his business model.
Not true. Most of his money comes from licensing his name out on buildings. And the third one?
Okay. And the third, he has filed for bankruptcy multiple times, which means he has bad business practices. Can America afford to be bankrupt?
The reason Trump would make the best candidate right now is because A, America is bankrupt, and B, we will be filing pretty soon. C, he did not personally go bankrupt. His companies went into Chapter 11, and they are still operating to this day.
A loophole that a lot of corporations do take to get their businesses out of that hunch.
Yeah.
Exactly. He knows how to use the bankruptcy laws to our advantage.
That's what I'm saying. Like when it comes to Trump, he's going to end that because he knows how the game is played. He knows how to get through these loopholes, and who better to close the loopholes than the people who've been going through them for years.
Look at this Libya, who is the strongest military in the world, who keeps all gold reserves, all money, U.S. money.
Okay. I'll play it.
Right? So our user Kirill actually has this really cool video with the Chinese military. So let's take a look and see.
Yeah, we were just talking about our military and how the Republicans aren't looking to cut the budget there.
Aaron,
It's
what about
military like hype. I put it under the new president of China.
it's like
she's
an
not.
open house. They do that all the time, like to show off the military. It's like a parade, so they show all their artillery, all that stuff. I wonder how many of those people are forced to stand there and watch this whole thing.
Name all of them. All
Literally,
of them.
it's like if you
They don't have a
move, I'm
choice.
going to shoot you and kill you. This is your obligation. Smile and look happy for the Americans.
People on Periscope and Meerkat, we are looking
This
at
is
a
your
field.
duty as a citizen, as a responsible citizen. So,
Exactly.
welcome to the oral.
Welcome to communism and socialism.
Yes.
They look so scared. Look at them. They're just like, I need to smile. The camera's on me.
Oh, shit. They have over 1 billion people there.
I'm surprised they're using this type of theme music. I would think they would come out
Yeah,
with like
this
their
sounds
own
very, this sounds
American.
very American.
I would use some like
Old school Soviet music.
some harps or something. They do that nice harp. Chinese people.
Well, kill people never knew.
The Chinese,
Hey, them folks
Yeah,
ain't
and a
coming.
lot of
the
their
Chinese mafia,
videos.
they don't play. I'm sorry. Those people are. They do not play. Like
I
they
think
will.
nothing about the Chinese mafia, so I'm gonna let him tell
They
me.
use samurai swords. Like, no.
Hey, y'all saying there's a
I'm
new
laughing because I don't know if to believe you or not.
Like Jamaica. You ever seen the movie
That was a
Shutdown?
nuclear weapon. You don't think those are nuclear
Those are my
weapons?
uncles. Like,
What are you saying, Wes?
You don't think those are nuclear weapons right there?
No.
You really want to find out?
No.
all right. So the GOP debate is minutes away, you guys. So get excited.
Get
Oh my
excited.
God, my teacher used to say that all the time.
Let's call them and ask them how are they going to deal with all those things.
I'm just gonna clear the media.
Okay. All right, guys. So we're gonna make another call. Okay, you guys. So let's make another call.
Yeah. Somebody is bound to bite. We keep
Hopefully.
casting the rod. Nope.
Y'all better stop asking. But listen, y'all better stop asking about Trump because you call them traditional Republicans. They know when you call them asking about Trump, you
We
ain't no
asked
Republican.
originally about Cruz, and nobody wants to talk about Cruz either.
I try to butcher my
Because they
voice.
lose. Nobody want to talk about nothing right now.
I try to man up my voice. I try to butcher up my voice.
Everybody's sitting on the TV hoping that tonight is not the end of the Republican National Convention.
It's ended already. The idea of the Republican Party has diminished because of Trump.
You're right.
Hold on a second, you guys. Okay, guys. Let's try another number.
Brian, are you going to be watching with us tonight?
He better be, and there's no question.
Well,
I'm gonna China him right now and force him to do it, or his family's gone.
Wait a minute. Shh, he didn't say that. Brian, you're going to be watching with us tonight, right?
See, the Chinese aren't gonna kill you if you do something bad. They'll just kill everybody that you love around you. So you have to like.
Can you let him answer the question so I can ask him what he's looking forward to?
Or was that like?
I don't know.
I'm looking for
uh,
Chin Tiger.
Hey guys, we're getting a lot of traction on America, and I Live Her 2011 says that this is the only country in the entire world who fought for independence, and yet are giving it up so easily. That's interesting. Thank you for that comment.
Meaning that all of our ancestors died in vain. For you to be so easily
You better pick up a gun.
swindled
It's not
and being that way, which is even scarier. Okay, I live for her.
2011.
I don't know who her is. Yourself? Are you speaking yourself in third person? But that's another healthcare issue. Anyway, what we're trying to say.
I Live for Her is saying that she doesn't blame Trump. She blamed the ignorant Americans, and she also says that Trump is very smart. And she said, "What's up to Brian? Brian, you got a fan." Her name is
I've
Nikki.
spoken to her before.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice,
You
nice.
need to get her here directly to
Okay, Nikki.
DINtv.com for her to chat with us.
Hey, Nikki, you can definitely come to DINtv once you get a laptop or a computer. You can definitely come to DINtv.com and give us a chat. I'm sorry that you feel that we Americans are ignorant. You know, that's your opinion and you're entitled to that.
Well, actually,
But-
I put it in another contextual way, shall we say? But to the same effect as we have to wake up. I think what Wes, just to go back to what his statement was, because I got some of it about his how to revive this so-called economy. The problem was that austerity will never get you, no matter how much you cut back. That's not the solution at all. In other words, you have to look at what's the driver of the debt. What is it that right now people don't know? That the debt that's accumulated by Wall Street, it's upwards of $2 quadrillion in derivatives. This is the speculative market that Wes, I don't know what he does, but that has to be shut down. And unfortunately, this is exactly what FDR did to shut this market out of our system. And that because it's not American. If you really think about what the United States thrived on, it was not a Wall Street speculative market system. That came from a British empirical system, and that's the foundation that I try to emphasize to people. That's the difference between the United States government and a fictitious speculative run economy. Hello?
Hold on.
I only heard 2011
Yeah,
because
we can
my
hear you.
laptop is broken.
Okay.
You can join in, but it's alright. But
John, Chris,
Aaron 86 said America's independence used to be disappearing a long time ago, and it's a big shame to see the greatest country on earth slowly crumble.
That's your opinion, girl. We are not the greatest country
That
in the
was
world.
Aaron who said that.
And I feel like everybody needs to get out of this complex of their country being the greatest. None of us are the greatest. We need to focus on ourselves and focus on becoming a better country, and stop this competition thing.
Y'all ready for the Trump apocalypse?
Trump apocalypse. Oh God.
Are you ready for it? I'm prepared.
I feel like after Tuesday we can.
I got my hair swoop ready and everything.
I'm looking forward to Cruz and Rubio getting into it all out, just
Yeah, no,
straight
that-
brawl. They're gonna be up there brawling. I'm telling you, that's how Trump has Trump's mind. People don't understand how he operates and this the tactics he uses to get people behind him. And then on top of that, to control the people up on the stage, because he literally controls those people, and it's not even. It's embarrassing, honestly. It's crazy.
Woo! Sounds like your idol.
I look up. Yeah, pretty much. I look up to that man because of what he can
He
do.
saw you and was like, "Get out of here."
That's
I
fine.
did for her says. You
That
have
is so
3
cool.
other options to get me on: phone, FaceTime, or Skype. I'm
It's
sorry, you
fine.
can't be flexible.
And you have several options: Best Buy, Kmart, Target. You can definitely buy yourself a laptop, and you can come to DINtv.com. We would love to hear your input. We're open to any type of changes that you may want to put in. So definitely come to DINtv.com and buy yourself a laptop.
She said she got Skype, right?
Yeah, but Skype on her phone.
How you gonna change it without a laptop? Girl, get yourself a laptop and come to DINtv.
Oh, silly tripping. That Trump coming out. Say what you feel, man.
I'm moving on. Brian, you didn't tell me what you're going to be looking forward to for tonight's debate.
oh God.
She been
real
She has been.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that I don't know if anybody wants to be president, quite frankly. I think that they don't have the ability to even do it.
Yeah, nah, because they know what's coming. A greater depression.
Mm.
At least you'll be looking super skinny. I need like an excuse to lose weight, so why not a depression?
I promise this whole night I have had so many things to say, but I can't say them. Outlandish things.
Kevin, you're being called out on Meerkat. You hear, Kevin? You're getting called out on Meerkat.
Man, I gotta get on Meerkat. It's going down over
I
there.
live here.
Okay, just a
2011.
second. Just a second.
Hi, this is Kevin calling from DINtv, the producer.
She called in.
She called it.
Hello, Nikki. Is this you? Nikki. Hello?
I think you have officially offended I
Don't,
live
don't
for
speak on
one.
what you don't know.
Well, that offended
True,
Mark,
true,
who gave us 12 minutes.
true.
When you make it cold, it's not ground cold. It's serious cold. Just imagine you sitting like in CNL petrol where you make it cold. It's not ground cold. Okay? Okay? Yeah.
Meerkat is on fire. I'm saying. Meerkat is popping.
I can't deal with this.
Usa. Let's click
Guys, I just really want to know what people are expecting and wanting from tonight's debate. But every time I start, it's just
See, first you want to be a Republican.
For governor campaign. None of us can take your call right now. If you leave a message, we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
he's putting on his
Thanks, and have a
professional
good
voice,
day.
guys. Hold on.
Hello, this is Kevin, the producer of DINtv.com. It's a pleasure to be speaking to you today. We would love it to, if you come to DINtv.com and actually give us your input on the Republican Party and the debate that's happening tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our phone number is 786-802-3407, or you can visit us on our platform at www.dintv.com. We would just like to ask you a couple questions in regard to your stances on Trump, Cruz, and all the other Republican candidates debating tonight. So you can give us a call back at 786-802-3407 or www.dintv.com. TV you can call back to. Have a nice day.
Does
No.
it sound profesh?
Very profesh.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm all
Chad,
professional.
time for you to go.
Pedro. Ven aquí.
You speak in Spanish?
I know my Trump supporters don't like that. I'm sorry.
Oh my
I'm
god!
bilingual.
Oh my god! Oh my gosh!
That kid looks so
Gotta speak
disappointed
English.
though when he looked at me.
Yeah, he
was just like,
"Why are you?
Why? He was like,
are you-"
why are you a Trump?
That's so sad. Hey, y'all, we live in a country where white people hate white people.
Wait, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and expand on that. What do you mean by that?
What? You ain't got no white friends?
You said white people hate white people?
Hell yeah. You ain't got no white friends?
Of course I do, and they love everybody.
Next time you talk to your white friends, just say, I hate white people. Y'all be tripping. And they're going to know what they're going to say. You are so right. You are so right. I can't
But
stand
where did that
it.
come from?
I'm just thinking about this whole thing going on right here. I mean, you got people out here that hate this man. Some people hate him because he talk too much. Some people hate him because he's rich. Some people hate him because they think he's a liar. It's crazy.
That's the one that I have for you.
It's crazy. Justice for Gianna.
All right. In regard to liberal policies, how do you feel about?
Go to you open the Google Doc with the Texas stuff.
It won't open for me because I don't have access to it. You might want to sign in.
I opened it for both of you guys.
What the chairman saying? What the chairman saying? What the chairman saying?
Okay. I'm gonna unmute the chairman so you can hear what he's saying.
Please don't vote for Trump. Don't fall for it. Please.
Than it was in 2012. That's what we've built. That's what we're going to continue to do. And we're going to do it to win, not just for our party, but obviously for our country. So God bless you and thank you for joining us tonight.
Anybody else getting an adrenaline rush?
No, not at all.
Well, just ahead as we count down to the debate on Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz taking aim at Donald Trump. They're using phrases like loud, rattled, out of control. Their words,
I need to
even comparing him to
can speak. On some of the stances, they have all kind of agreed. So we're going to start with gay marriage. I would like to hear you guys' take on gay marriage, whether you feel like it was a stance that they should have been for. Do you think that, well, Ted Cruz, the guy I'm supporting tonight, he doesn't even believe in gay pride parades. Do you think this is a stance that will get him further in this debate or in this race?
I don't know. Like, I don't like really talking about other people's views. I like to talk amongst the people on how you feel about it. I can express my opinion on it.
Right.
I think to answer that question, I don't think you'll get him further. I mean, he obviously trying to focus and get all the evangelicals on his side. So obviously, he's trying to push for, which is by going to what happened in Nevada. Like Trump got most of the evangelicals, some a big chunk of them. So
South Carolina too.
Yeah, South Carolina as well. That's
Which
true.
is surprising to me, like I said, because Trump has just started the whole reaching out to different religious schools so that he has like a religious stance in this race.
Right.
He wasn't initially saying anything about race or taking it into consideration at all. It wasn't until Ted Cruz started getting a lot of backing from all the religious realms that he decided to take this on.
Let's see. I think that has a whole. It's unfortunate for him. I mean, the only thing he has going on for him is the fact that he's from Texas, and then he's a heavy Christian. Like he's like really goes for the whole evangelical vote. But I don't think it's gonna do him any good. And then looking forward to this debate, there is a couple things that I like to that I want to see going into it, and it's Donald Trump going he's gonna go for the kill.
Mm-hmm.
Is this? I mean, I think he for the Trump supporters, or I'll think about it more and more in the sense of a very strategical way. Mm-hmm. Trump should really go in for the kill, go in and put everybody on their spot. I don't think Ted Cruz is going to bounce back at all. He won this first the first state, which was Iowa. And is Marco Rubio going to do anything at all?
I feel like Marco Rubio is slowly starting to skyrocket.
I think he could very well be, in leaning towards that end. But then again, I feel like because
I mean they have the same ideals. Like they're both represented as family men. But they're both they're both religious.
Marco Rubio is family man. Come on,
he is, and he's from Cuba. He loves his family.
He's a Florida boy.
Yeah,
he loves who makes him the nations.
No, but he's been represented on a wide platform as a family man.
Did you watch by the chance Alpha House? That is a good character, just like 100% for me. We can identify with the Rubio. It's Guzman.
Alpha House? No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, you should watch it. You will get the full perception about Rubio, I think.
Okay.
No, the people on House of Cards are cooler.
No, Alpha House is a comedy. It's a comedy. It's and Guzman, Senator Guzman, just like portrayed it from Rubio, from my.
I'm gonna see if I can find something from Alpha House too.
Everybody needs to vote for Trump. He's the one that's going to make the change. He's the one that's going to make the people really wake up and see what the government is doing to us, and like it doesn't matter. Like Trump is going to take us to outer space. He's going to take us to the moon, and we need to realize this.
Trump is also very non-traditional in the sense of
his hair defies gravity. Why would he not go to space?
Well, in a way for Trump to win, he needs it's all about that. When he wants for him to be the nominee for the Republican Party, he needs to hit a certain number of delegates. Mm-hmm. And so far, he's in the forefront. He needs only 1,237 delegates.
Okay.
Which is pretty much like half of the whole total of the delegates as a whole is 2,472. But he only needs about 1.2 more or less. Right now he has 81. And
guys, we must watch it, please. I will post the clip in the DINtv and moderators, please. Can you please? But because it's from Facebook, everyone need to unmute from his end the video.
Okay.
Yeah. Just watch it. It's all related.
Okay. Guys, on Periscope Meerkat, come directly to DINtv.com. We are about to play a clip that one user has posted. Please, if you're in DINtv.com site, you need to press play from your end and
vote for Trump.
And shut up, Kevin. Unmute it, Pedro.
Oh my gosh.
Go border about some of the other comments you made.
I'm a Trump monster.
Listen.
But you gotta learn the info though.
Which one?
Put the cursor here.
Let's see anything in your login.
We're gonna build a wall. I can't hear it, just to let y'all know.
You have to unmute it from your side.
That's all good. I seen it.
Oh.
Vote for Trump or you're a
Hey
Trump.
guys, on Meerkat, why don't you guys tell us what are you guys looking for into this debate? What do you guys want to see, and what are the biggest difference from last debate and this debate? We're currently watching a video of Donald Trump being like part of the Game of Thrones cast. So that's pretty interesting. Just let us know what you guys think in the sense of like, what do you guys want the debate to be about? Who do you
I wanna know.
in the comments, and if you guys want to follow us, speak to us at 680-23407. I'm gonna go ahead and plug in on.
Hey, you guys, I just posted the phone numbers on there. Just open them in your other tab so that you have them. I'm gonna keep posting them for you.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Did y'all see the Trump wall? Y'all don't see it.
Not yet. Not on our end. Ours was a little bit slower than you guys's.
Does anybody watch the Game of Thrones?
I do religiously. I love that show, especially Stoned. It's my favorite.
Damn, I'm so out the loop, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chop off heads.
Of course, Kirill would find this funny. Yeah, it is entertainment.
So going back to it in the terms of the delegates, Donald Trump has 81. Cruz and Rubio are tied for 17. Oh, we have a caller. I knew we was gonna get a call. Let's try to pick up this call and let's see what's up.
Put the mic next to the speaker and then just press speakerphone.
How are you? What's your name and where you calling from?
Hey, what's up? It's Nikki.
I'm sorry, what's your name?
It's Nikki from Meerkat.
Hey, Nikki, how are you? I finally got you on the line. How are you?
Yeah, well, your friend before wasn't giving a phone number. I was trying to give him several ways to contact me. All he gave was the website, but I don't have a computer, and apparently I'm a subpar human being because I can't afford one right now.
I did not even.
You was just saying that to stir some things up.
Definitely. He tends to have a big mouth. Well, hey, I just want to ask you, what are you expecting from this debate? What do you want to see on this debate coming up at 8:30?
I don't expect anything from this debate. It's all a lie. It's all a lie, and that's what people need to realize, is that there is no point in the debate. No one has a choice. Hillary will be the next president. Follow the money, and that's your answer.
Right. That is interesting. That's a pretty.
And by it's all a lie, what do you mean?
Thank you.
What?
What do you mean by it's all a lie?
It's all a lie. It's all a farce. It's all a show.
It's a show. I can see that.
The Game of Thrones or whatever the hell it is that you're watching. It's all entertainment. It's all to keep you sidetracked and the truth hidden that you're being controlled. And there's no, the election doesn't matter. Small elections in your own cities, for small things, sure, those matter on a local basis. Presidential elections, every single person in this country could vote for the same exact person, and it wouldn't matter if that's not who the real world leaders wanted to be in president or plan to be in president.
Now, let me ask you the following. Do you have a horse in this race? Are you supporting any candidate at all?
No, I did, but he dropped out a long time ago. But
we have a question from Kirill.
Republican, he was a constitutionalist, which is what we need.
Yes, Kirill.
She think Rand Paul.
Yeah, but if it's all lies, okay. But if Trump going to build the real wall, if we're going to ban like Muslims or whatever, then Jewish, whatever, whoever from the entry into the country, it's all going to be real things.
You're gonna have to raise that question. She can't hear him, Pedro. Okay.
Well, our a viewer here is saying that whatever happens if Trump does get into office, he's going to build a wall, and all of these are going to be real things that happen. How do you feel about that?
I swear on my daughter, he will not be in office. I swear to you, it will be Hillary.
You think Hillary will take it?
I guarantee it. Doesn't matter what anyone wants. Hillary's going to
Oh
take
my
it.
God, she's awoke. She knows. She knows what she's talking about. She knows what she's talking
Don't
about.
look at what they say or what they do. It doesn't matter. They can say and do anything. It doesn't matter. You look for the longest of time. The only good president we've ever had is Kennedy. The only one.
And do you identify as Republican or Democrat?
Neither. I identify as an American who believes in a constitution.
You guys have any questions for Nikki? Let us know.
That we fought for.
So,
Okay.
are you going to vote in this election?
No.
No.
Why would I waste my time for something that doesn't matter? Why would you waste your time for something that doesn't matter?
Well, I'll tell you something about that. Whether it matters or no, I think that's a bit unfair for you not to vote. And
some dead people.
for you being
Nobody
a
focus
woman,
on what's
I
going to
don't know
happen to
how
the
you're enlisted in
She gonna be making draws, bro.
There has been people that have going through like thick and
Like,
thin.
it's just so ignorant to be like that, to say it's not, they don't matter when this is really happening.
She has a point. She said that.
Why? Why do we leave England? Let me ask you that.
Well, it was to get rid of the crown. They didn't want to. They was avoiding taxation and quote unquote freedom.
Okay. Because we wanted freedom. Right. We wanted what we stand for as far as our Constitution says. Correct?
Right. That's what it was based upon.
We agree with that.
When she waited for me to leave when she took all in, I should have been.
Now, would you agree that our Constitution today, and even in the recent past, the last couple of years, has not been widely respected and upheld?
I get you. I totally understand. I totally understand.
Let you know that we operate under a different
Constitution
constitution.
is not in play, you guys. That ended a long time ago.
Let me tell you, one of our viewers from DINtv is telling us that. Are you aware that we operate in a different constitution, maybe a different interpretation of it?
Yes, I am. Actually, the correct, from my point of view, which is based off of my extensive research, is that each state is operating under its own constitution, covered by an umbrella of some sort of martial law, which is actually all posted on the government website. Like, if you guys go to, what is it? The United Nations website, it's all public information. Because no one believes it. They think that, people like me are conspiracy theorists. But they're too lazy to go look for themselves, but it's right there in front of their freaking faces.
Can you guys tell Nikki?
They support.
She's literally me in the girl form. Like, literally everything she says, I say it.
Oh my!
Hold on, wait, nigga. There's a question being formed to you. I'm gonna go ahead and pass it to you. Go ahead, Kevin.
No, she can't hear me.
I know, but tell me about
no,
it.
just tell her. Pretty much, I would complete like outside of the Republican debate tonight. Like, I complete like. Siobhan, everything she says, I've said before, basically. So yeah,
We've all said it though.
not you, Wes.
Our last moderator that was here, Kevin, said that he
because I'm involved in the process. I mean, there's no point in just not being involved in it and being completely like a.
I guess your point on that too.
You see what I mean?
Instead of just talking, doing that.
Again, it goes back to understand what's going on now.
Yeah, it's all a tactic to get you here.
It's a show.
Tell him, I do need to say something. You tell him to go back to being a child and relearn some empathy and some respect for other people. Because when I told him that my ex smashed in my face, very true. I've already had 5 operations on my nose just to be able to fucking breathe. So you tell him that
he's listening.
I'm right here, sweetie.
He's listening.
I'm right here. You can speak to me directly.
You said it was very fucking rude.
How so? I asked you.
But you said at least your face will be skinny. That's so fucking insensitive. I shouldn't have to have surgery in the first place.
Wait, what are you talking about? I wasn't even using that statement to reference you. You weren't even in my mind. We were talking about the Great Depression, and I said, well, I probably get super skinny.
Right after I said, why don't you pay for all my surgeries that I had to have because my ex smashed in my face? You said at least your face face will be super skinny. That's what you said.
When okay, let me give you a little behind the scenes of what goes on DINtv. When you message me on Meerkat, you're on a phone. Like, I can't see you. I can't see the message in real time. So you may have taken that answer for your question, but there were other users on the website that I was speaking to.
Okay, but so, you specifically referenced my face, in which I said my face specifically referenced that right after I made that comment.
You know why I made that comment, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so this argument is pointless. But we do appreciate you calling us in, and I do apologize if you feel that way, but next time if you come to DINtv.com, you can speak to me directly and you can tell me how you really feel, okay?
I just did. I'm doing that right now.
Now, in that note, I thank you for your call, Nikki. We're gonna go ahead and jump into the debate for a little bit. If you want to call in like in the next 20 minutes, we'll definitely answer your call and then take it from there. Let's open the conversation for other viewers. Thank you so much for your call. Just make sure to stay on Meerkat. I'm reading your comments, okay?
Thank you so much, Nikki.
What she's saying, like,
thank you.
80% of the population knows this because we have YouTube available.
Pause in the
yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
go ahead, Wes. I didn't catch that. Go ahead, Wes.
No, I'm saying what she is saying is that everybody knows this already. It's just to the point where, okay, there's no point in, if nobody's going to do nothing about it, then we might as well participate in the process as it happens and go back to your daily life. At least have an opinion. That's what I don't like. I don't like people who don't have an opinion about the topic at hand. There's no point in even speaking on it if you don't want to have an engaging conversation. If you want to have everybody looking off to the side, looking off at the moon while you speaking, it's like, what's the point?
I mean, I understand all of that. My problem comes in when she's like, this is basically already decided. I get that, but I don't think that should be a rationalization for how you decide whether or not you're going to vote or not.
He's looking for the "I told you so" moment. That's what I call these type of people. They're the people that speak out on these things and just don't do anything, and then basically wait for it to happen and then just say "I told you so" while they're sinking in the ship with you. So they're not trying to proactively like make any change. They just want to prove a point. You know what I'm saying?
I can respect everybody's opinion, but I still feel like even if you feel like this debate has already decided, then what's it going to hurt you to go out and vote, especially when it's been fought for so long for women to have the right to vote?
That's what I like to emphasize.
No, not even that. You don't have to go out and vote. What would it hurt you to have an opinion on at least the people? I like this person. I don't like that person.
Right.
All she knows is that she doesn't like Trump.
At least be and then have an engaging conversation with people. That's the problem with America. We get so asshole tight about money, politics, and religion. It's like, what is even the point? Why is it even existence if it's such a problem?
Like, logic just leaves the brain at that point.
Exactly. It's just like, oh, no. And then, like I said, most people know, well, most people probably don't know, but the United States of America that we are now operating under is incorporated. There are actually articles of incorporation from this corporation.
That's why we have social security numbers. Why do you think we have social security numbers? She doesn't know that. She watched the YouTube video, sounded really cool, really nice, and she just pretty much
I'm gonna read it.
The video.
And we respect everything you have to say, but just know that we are going to have an opinion in response to what you have to say.
Yeah, and that's fine. You know, and the debate is about to start, but I want to go a quick rundown on Siobhan. What do you want to see in this debate, just quickly?
Tonight, I want to see how they're going to handle Social Security, what they have to say in regards to it.
Okay, how about you, Kevin? What do you want to see in this debate, quickly?
I want to see a call from young Republicans.
Okay, we're gonna make that happen.
What we could do is like while we're watching it, and just like try to call while we're watching it.
All right. How about you, Wes? What are you looking for in this debate, if anything at all?
I want to see Cruz and Rubio get into a fist fight. I want to see Ben Carson shoot up. I want this man has due sense out of all five of them.
What about you, Brian? Real quickly, what do you want to see in this debate?
I don't know. It's just some
acknowledgement of like thermonuclear warfare. You just want them to talk about it. Just at least let them know that they know about it.
Well, this debate is obviously on Houston, Texas, and this is the first debate that will be also moderated by Telemundo, which is one of the biggest Spanish TV channels. And on that note, Texas is a state that will be on Super Tuesday coming up, and it has 155 delegates, the second highest state behind California in terms of delegates.
Ted Cruz's home state, and he's not slated to win, actually.
Yeah. So let's check back in. They're introducing the candidates, and then we go ahead and join by. Just think about points to go ahead and make across later in the commercial.
I bet you they'll be back to shooting dice.
Donald Trump.
We're about to start watching the debate. Just tell us what
Senator Marco Rubio of Florida.
And people on Blab can come talk to us.
And retired neurosurgeon Dr. Ben Carson.
We are watching it live. If you can't come here to see it directly, watch it where you are and write us about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the Republican candidates for President of the United States.
But Nikki will be the same one complaining next year.
Now please rise for our national anthem, performed by country music artist Dina Carter.
Oh, now my whole heart is broken.
What is she saying?
Nikki, where are you from? People in DINtv are trying to find out where do you call from. What's up
Speak
with
for yourself. I don't care where she's from.
What's up with she's gonna
Can you see by the dawn's early light?
Why were you going to have to sing the national anthem?
It's like a football game.
These people getting paid.
Good money.
Who's brought strife?
They swear this is like a sports game. That's what they're doing to say. Like a sports game.
And she sucks
For
when she
the
fought.
ramparts we watched were so
And you let me touch the mic and get all close. Oh my God.
Nikki's calling from California, Sacramento.
The bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night
Yeah, I'm expecting
that our flag was still
I'm
there.
expecting also for Trump to go ahead and
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave
Yeah, he's gone. Bye, Jeff.
He's not longer there.
for the land of the free
So let's
and
hold
the
him
home
and again,
of the
let me guys know what you guys think.
Thank you very much, Dina Carter. A beautiful, beautiful national anthem. The final debate before Super Tuesday begins right after this quick break.
Carson, we can go on here.
They want to go ahead and sing the national anthem and then go to a break.
Yeah, it's all a show. Another thing I want to throw out, this is the 10th debate
10 of
for held by CNN.
Mm-hmm.
Number 10. CNN, Fox News, all these TV channels are making a lot of dough.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of money because I feel like this is the only race that I see that it's for one so long and second so advertised. So I mean, and then on the same token, like Trump is in there and he says things that might get him in the forefront and the tabloids, but it's incredible to me how media is really
That's
part of
why
it.
Kanye West says what he says about Taylor because he knows people are going to talk about it, and that's why Trump says what he says because he knows people are going to talk about it. They know how to manipulate the social media scene.
Mm-hmm. And all these
that's
little
what it
channels
is now,
need all
social
of
media.
this funding. They have to, at night, they have to do the whole paid programming thing in order for their channels to survive. Even though they've been around forever, they need this programming. So one time for these debates funding a lot or keeping them in the running with all the other major channels.
And it's also a full circle because you have these debates, and when you go to commercial, where you really make the money are ads targeting their candidate. So you breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's like the whole politics, and it's all up in your face. So it comes full circle. It's good, but it's not so good
because it is election season. They got to get money for those ads, and not only on top of those ads, like the BMW ad we just saw, those regular ads, they still pay extra. It's like primetime Super Bowl. It's probably more than Super Bowl. Honestly, they just don't tell you that.
Yeah,
it's crazy. The length these people will go. Think about this: how much money the advertisers spend to advertise to the people? How much money are they really making? Why are we just giving our money away?
We're talking about how much money goes into this campaign, and this debates, and this ad.
Let us know what you guys think. Kevin, I want to ask you a question. Can we call the UK? We have a viewer, Meerkat, that wants us to call him to the UK. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, I think so. Let me give you the directions, but continue going on.
Okay. So with that note, I think that's pretty important. There should be, and somebody must be counting how much money it is spent. I wish I was keeping track of it, and I don't. I feel like I wouldn't be here if I would keep keeping on track of it. But it's just interesting, and it's just gonna keep going. It's gonna keep going in terms of money. And mind you, this is only a Republican and like Democratic election. This is not a general election.
Exactly.
So it's just incredible.
Have there been any commercials that have caught your eye? I know you talked about the commercial with Ted Cruz and
also, yes, there have been some commercials that caught my eye, but those commercials are in the Democratic side.
Okay.
I feel like we can play those a little later after the
I just
show.
sent you the link to the article on how to do it, so just read it.
Okay. I think and those commercials are targeted specifically to African Americans. I know there's one that I heard that Morgan Freeman is endorsing Hillary Clinton. So there's two ads that is coming up, with his voice and like quote unquote God's voice, and she's speaking about like Trayvon Martin and all this, young teenagers, African Americans, and like and there's another one that this a radio ad that I heard. And it's Spike Lee endorsing Bernie Sanders. So
that's cooler than Morgan.
Honestly,
he speaks to the millennials. Like he's pretty much like he was a millennial before millennials. His films are like embedded in pop culture, pretty much, and Black culture. So I think
let me tell you that, and I know we're here on the internets of the world. Hey, any candidate here want to cut me a check and I can go ahead and endorse them, by all means, because that was happening. I'm about the money. I'm focused on the meal. So in that note, let's go ahead and then tune into the debate.
I want to tell you how tonight's debate will work. As moderator, I will guide the discussion, asking questions and follow-ups, as will Maria Celeste, Dana Bash, and Hugh Hewitt. Candidates will have 1 minute and 15 seconds to answer, and 30 seconds for follow-ups and rebuttals. We have timing lights that are visible to the candidates. Those lights will warn you when your time is up, and as the candidates requested, a bell will sound like this.
Are they looking forward to being addressed?
We know you all want to jump in and debate these critically important issues, but please wait until you're called on. These are the rules all of the candidates have agreed to. It's time for the candidates to introduce themselves right now. You'll each have 30 seconds. Dr. Carson, you're first.
If someone had tried to describe today's America to you 30 years ago, you would have listened in disbelief. Americans know that our nation is heading off the abyss of destruction, secondary to divisiveness, fiscal irresponsibility, and failure to lead. Marco, Donald, Ted, John, we will not solve any of these problems by trying to destroy each other. What we need to do is be looking for solutions tonight. It's not about us, it's about the American people.
Yes, well, on the way over here, even getting ready earlier, sitting in the green room and watching the early coverage. My father carried mail on his back, and his father was a coal miner. And my mother's mother was an immigrant, could barely speak English.
Yeah, my great-great-grandfather.
I'm standing on this stage. It's pretty remarkable.
Kevin.
But I want to tell you,
right now.
a lot of young people watching tonight. You can do whatever you want to do in your life. America is an amazing country where a kid like me can grow up and run for the United States.
You know you guys are slaves, so you gotta help you out.
Your hopes, your dreams, shoot for the stars. America's great, and you can do it. Thank you, Wolf.
Rubio. That's the way I'm talking about it. We have to decide the identity of America in the 21st century. But as part of this primary, we have to find out our identity as a party and as a movement.
No.
36 years ago, Ronald Reagan and George H.W. Bush began the Reagan Revolution. For a generation, they defined conservatism as limited government and free enterprise and a strong national defense. But they also appealed to our hopes and our dreams.
Now we have to decide if we are still that kind of party and still that kind of movement, or if we're simply going to become a party that preys on people's angers and fears. I hope we remain that conservative movement that appeals to our hopes and our dreams and the belief that America will always be better in its future.
Okay, Rubio.
History.
Yeah.
Rubio, I like that.
Yes, Senator Cruz.
Welcome to Texas. Here,
You remind me of the guy
my
from
family
iCarly so bad.
here, my mom became the first in her family ever to go to college.
Don't talk
Here,
about
my
Texas.
dad fled Cuba and washed dishes making 50 cents an hour to pay his way through the University of Texas.
You know, there was a controversy
graduated
about
from high
how his
school at
parents
Second
came
Baptist,
over
not
here
too
as
far
well,
away
because
from here.
initially he was saying
When
they
I ran for
tried to
Senate, I
escape the
promised
Castro
27
regime,
million
and
Texans
it
I would
came
fight
out
for
that
you every
they
day
left
and
way
not
before
for
Castro
Washington
was
bosses.
even in place.
And I'll tell you, as I travel
Like,
the
no,
state,
Ted.
Democrats tell me, I didn't vote for you, but you're doing what you said you would do. And as president, I will do the same.
I really want to see the Lord in this debate. It better be.
Mr. Trump. Thank you. My whole theme is make America great again. We don't win anymore as a country. We don't win with trade. We
Yes,
don't win with the
China.
military.
It's a little low,
ISIS,
but
we
it's
can't
okay.
even knock out ISIS, and we will. Believe me, we will. We don't win in any capacity with healthcare. We have terrible healthcare. Obamacare is going to be repealed and replaced. We just don't win. You look at our borders, they're like Swiss cheese. Everybody pours in. We're going to make a great country again. We're going to start winning again. We're going to win a lot. It's going to be a big difference. Believe me, it's going to be a big, big difference.
What are you saying?
Thank you very much. It's now time to begin questions. Voters in the first 4 states have spoken, and Mr. Trump has emerged as the front runner. But in 5 days, the candidates will face their biggest test yet, Super Tuesday, when nearly half of the delegates needed to win the Republican nomination will be awarded. And the biggest prize of the night is Texas. Immigration is a key issue in this state for all voters nationwide, including the many people watching us tonight on Telemundo. So that's where we begin. Mr. Trump, you've called for a deportation force to remove the 11 million undocumented immigrants from the United States. You've also promised to let what you call the good ones come back in, your words, the good ones, after they've been deported. Senator Cruz would not allow them to come back in. He says that's the biggest difference between the two of you. He calls your plan amnesty, is it? He was in charge of amnesty. He was the leader, and you can ask Marco, because they've been debating this every debate that we've had.
Because you put up a
As far as coming back in, number one, you wouldn't even be talking, and you wouldn't have asked that as the first question. If it weren't for me when I talked about illegal immigration, it wouldn't even be a big subject. But we either have a country or we don't have a country. We have at least 11 million people in this country that came in illegally. They will go out. They will come back. Some will come back, the best, through a process. They have to come back legally. They have to come back through a process, and it may not be a very quick process, but I think that's very fair and very fine. They're going to get online with other people. The best of them will come back, but they're going to come back through a process. Senator Cruz,
Strong statement.
what's wrong with letting what Mr. Trump calls the good ones come back to the United States?
You know, the people that get forgotten in this debate over immigration are the hardworking men and women of this country, are millions of Americans who are losing their jobs, millions of legal immigrants who are losing their jobs or seeing their wages driven down. You know, the past couple of weeks, the Wall Street Journal had a very interesting article about the state of Arizona. Arizona put in very tough laws on illegal immigration, and the result was illegal immigrants fled the state. And what's happened there was a very interesting article. Some of the business owners complained that the wages they had to pay workers went up. And from their perspective, that was a bad thing. But what the state of Arizona has seen is the dollars they're spending on welfare, on prisons, on education, all of those have dropped by hundreds of millions of dollars. And the Americans, and for that matter, the legal immigrants who are in Arizona, are seeing unemployment drop, are seeing wages rise. That's who we need to be fighting for. Listen, we have always welcomed legal immigrants, but I think it is a mistake to forgive those who break the law, to allow them to become U.S. citizens, and that's why I've led the fight against granting citizenship to those here illegally, and that's why I will do the same thing as president.
Mr. Trump, you want to respond to that? Well, I'm very glad that Ted mentioned Arizona, because probably the toughest man on borders is Sheriff Joe Arpaio, and 2 days ago, he totally endorsed me. So, thank you. Senator Rubio. Well, for Senator Cruz has called your immigration plan amnesty, and has an ad out there comparing it to President Obama's. He says both of you support allowing undocumented immigrants legal status here in the United States after a background check, paying a fine, and paying taxes. Are those claims correct?
Well, first of all, before we do anything, and I've been abundantly clear on this, when I'm president of the United States, before we do anything on immigration, we are going to secure the border. And that's not just the physical border with Mexico. It's visa overstays. That's 45% of the problem right there. It also has to do, that's why we need E-Verify and an entry-exit tracking system and so forth. And until that happens, we're not doing anything else. And then we'll see what the American people are willing to support. And Donald mentioned, because he mentioned me in his answer, that his position on immigration is what's driven this debate. Well, the truth is, though, that a lot of these positions that he's now taking are new to him. In 2011, he talked about the need for a pathway to citizenship. In 2012, Donald criticized Mitt Romney, saying that Mitt lost his election because of self-deportation. And so even today, we saw a report in one of the newspapers that, Donald, you've hired a significant number of people from other countries to take jobs that Americans could have filled. My mom was a maid at a hotel. And instead of hiring an American like her, you have brought in over 1,000 people all over the world to fill those jobs instead. So I think this is an important issue. And I think we all realize increasingly that's an important issue for the country that's been debated for 30 years, but finally needs to be solved.
Mr. Trump, well, first of all, self-deportation is people are going to leave as soon as they see others going out. If you look at Dwight Eisenhower in the 1950s, they started moving people out and the rest of them left. Self-deportation, as I really define it, and that's the way I define it, is you're going to get some to go and the rest are going to go out. As far as the people that I've hired in various parts of Florida during the absolute prime season, like Palm Beach and other locations, you could not get help. It's the up season. People didn't want to have part-time jobs. There were part-time jobs, very seasonal, 90-day jobs, 120-day jobs, and you couldn't get it. Everybody agrees with me on that. They were part-time jobs, you needed them, or we just might as well close the doors because you couldn't get help in those hot sections of Florida.
My point that I made was that you had criticized Mitt Romney for self-deportation. You said that his strategy of self-deportation is election. And I think people in Florida would be surprised because, in fact, the article that was today, they interviewed a number of people that would have been willing to do those jobs if you had been willing to hire them to do it.
I criticized Mitt Romney for losing the election. He should have won that election. He had a failed president. He ran a terrible campaign. He was a terrible candidate. That's what I criticized Mitt Romney. Well, I mean, he ran one terrible campaign. That's an election that should have been won.
Well, in fact, I agree with you. I wish we would have. But in fact, you did criticize that's on the record, and people can look it up right now online. But again, I just want to reiterate, I think it's really important, this point. I think it's fine. It's an important point that you raise and we discuss on immigration. This is a big issue for Texas, a huge issue for the country. But I also think that if you're going to claim that you're the only one that lifted this into the campaign, that you acknowledge that, for example, you're the only person on the stage that's ever been fined for hiring people to work on your projects illegally. You hired some workers from Poland.
I'm the only one on the stage that's hired people. You haven't hired
No, I let him lose. He's like a man.
You're a chump because you're not voting for Trump.
$1 million or so in the judgment.
That's wrong.
Sweet, that was. People are doing You'll see $1 million for hiring illegal workers on one of his projects.
I've hired tens of thousands of people over my lifetime. Tens of thousands.
Many from other countries that are hiring Americans.
Let me talk.
Let me talk.
Trump is very good at that, I must say.
It worked out very well.
Yeah, like, let me talk.
And by the way, the laws were totally different. That was a whole different world. Thank you. But I've hired people. Nobody up here has hired Senator Cruz. You say you want to support the 11 million undocumented immigrants, but you never want to allow them back to the United States. Well, you want his parents will be deported.
There we go.
Under your
I just
plan.
want to see what he's going to say.
Well, existing law provides that those who are deported cannot come back here legally. U.S. citizens can come back. That's existing law. But let me say, Wolf, I really find it amazing that Donald believes that he is the one who discovered the issue of illegal immigration. I can tell you, when I ran for Senate here in the state of Texas, I ran promising to lead the fight against amnesty, promising to fight to build a wall. And in 2013, when I was leading the fight against the Gang of Eight amnesty bill, where was Donald?
Yeah. Don't
He
be
was
trying,
firing Dennis
okay? Don't
Rodman
look
on
at him. This
Celebrity
is not
Apprentice.
about aesthetics, okay? This is about.
And indeed, if you look at the Gang of Eight, one individual on this stage broke his promise to the men and women who elected him, and he wrote So Donald funded the Gang of Eight. If you look at the 8 members of the Gang of Eight, Donald gave over $50,000 to 3 Democrats and 2 Republicans. And when you're funding open border politicians, you shouldn't be surprised when they fight for open borders. And I think if you want to know who actually will secure the borders and follow through, you ought to ask who has a record before they were a candidate for president of fighting to secure the borders and stop amnesty. And I'm the only one on the stage that has that record. And by the way, Marco is exactly right that a federal court found Donald guilty of being part of a conspiracy to hire people illegally and entered a $1 million judgment.
I'm with it. I'm with it. Let's see what happens. I'm with it. I'm with it.
Okay.
He is so messy.
And I've said it loud and clear, and I've said it for years.
And they're not the issues, but it's the controversy.
Lobbyists and special interest in your donors because the audience is packed with them and they're packed with you.
Wow.
I've had an amazing relationship with politicians, both Democrat, Republican, because I was a businessman. One magazine said, he's a world-class businessman. I got along with everybody. You get along with nobody. You don't have one Republican. You don't have one Republican.
Why are they trying to do this? They like they have no balls. They have no balls. They only have no balls.
You don't have one Republican senator backing you. You don't have the endorsement of one Republican senator, and you work for the senator.
But if you want to be president, you're talking about this one makes somebody thankful. Your morals and values are wrong with
He is promising
That's the only alternative. That's the only solution now. So
he has supported and given hundreds of thousands of dollars to Democrats. Anyone who really cared about illegal immigration wouldn't be hiring illegal immigrants. Anyone who really cared about illegal immigration wouldn't be funding wouldn't be funding the Gang of Eight.
That's why he's.
And, you know, he is right. When you stand up in Washington, when you honor the promise you made to the men and women who elected you, and say enough with the corruption, enough with the cronyism, let's actually stand for the working men and women of this country. Washington doesn't like it. And Donald, if you want to be liked in Washington, that's not a good attribute for a president.
Hey, I like him. Calm down.
Here's a man, Robin Hood. This is Robin Hood over here. He talks about corruption.
he talks about corruption and then he just froze and everything.
Man, what y'all got going on? It's a pretty diaper. I don't know.
Wow, that got real to that extent. But now I think it started off well. We're trying to fix it up right now. The whole the stream. It started off pretty well. I mean,
on his financial disclosure form, he didn't even put that he's borrowed money from Citibank and from Goldman Sachs, which is a total violation. He didn't talk about the fact that he pays almost no interest. He just left it off, and now he's going to protect the people from the big bad bank. We're going to move on. Mr. Governor Kasich. Governor Kasich, you can respond, but let me get Governor Kasich getting it's under control. Governor Kasich, the idea, you've said this, and I want to quote you now. The idea that we're going to deport all these people is ludicrous, and everybody knows it. Those are your words. Should people be allowed to break the law just because it's not?
I think so too. I wouldn't be surprised.
We have a great president here. George Bush, 41st President of the United States. He worked with Ronald Reagan to pass an effort to try to solve this problem.
I see you, Brian.
Path to legalization. You see, that was a time when things worked. It was a time when President Reagan and George Bush decided that we needed to make the country work. Look, I think there is an answer here. The answer is you complete the border. You let people know that once it's done, you don't have a right to come in. If you come in, we don't want any excuse. You're going to go back. But I favor a guest worker program. I think it's practical. And I think for the 11 or 11.5 million Americans, the illegals that are here, if they have not committed a crime since they've been here, I'd make them pay a fine, some back taxes, maybe some community service.
But everything he says starts off with maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that.
I don't think we're going to ride around in people's neighborhoods and grab people out of their homes. I don't think, first of all, I don't think it's practical, and I don't think it reflects America. You know what happened? The problem with President Reagan is we didn't get in there and actually finish the border. And I think it was probably business interests that affected it. But at the end of the day, let's be practical. Let's start solving problems in this country instead of kicking them upstairs. And with President Reagan and George Bush, it was a bipartisan coalition to address the issue. And I think we can and should do it again. And I will have a plan in the first 100 days to get it done and get this issue behind us.
Thank you, Governor.
Everybody else has a plan already.
He's got 6 delegates.
You've been critical of mass deportation. You said back in November you don't think Mr. Trump's plan necessarily represents the Republican Party. Given how well Mr. Trump has been doing with the Republican primary voters, do you still believe that?
I believe in liberty and justice for all. I think everything that we do should be fair. And I've already described, how we can secure the border. We need to secure all the borders because it's not just people coming in from South America and Mexico, but there are terrorists who want to destroy us who are getting across our borders fairly easily, and we have to stop that. But in terms of the people who are here already, after we stop the illegal immigration, we need to be reasonable. And I would give them a 6-month period in which to get registered as a guest worker, assuming that they have an acceptable record. They have to pay a back tax penalty, have to pay taxes going forward, but they don't have to live underground anymore. And I think they do not become American citizens. They do not vote. They want to become an American citizen. They go through exactly the same process that anybody else goes through. I think that's the kind of situation that is actually fair to people. And we have other ways of utilizing our facilities and our talents as foreign aid, doing things in South America and Central America and Mexico that improve the economy there so that they don't feel the need to come over here. That would cost us a lot less than borrowing money from China, paying interest on it.
Thank you, Dr. Carson. Mr. Trump.
The shots continue.
Your campaign, as you all remember, began with the idea of building a wall along the southern border. It's about 315 miles southwest of where we are right now. You've said the Mexican government will pay for it. Correct. The spokesman for the current president of Mexico says that will never happen. The last 2 presidents of Mexico say that will never happen. In fact, the former president of Mexico, Vicente Fox, he said today, and I'm quoting him, he said, "I'm not going to pay for that, quote, effing wall." So if you don't get an actual check from the Mexican government for 8 or 10 or 12 billion dollars, whatever it will take, how are you going to make them pay for the wall?
We are going to keep sending people over there.
And the wall just got 10 feet taller. Believe me. It's got 10 feet taller.
He said that the wall just got 10 feet taller.
I saw him use the word that he used. I can only tell you, if I would have used even half of that word, it would have been national scandal. This guy used a filthy, disgusting word on television, and he should be ashamed of himself, and he should apologize, okay? Number one. Number two, we have a trade deficit with Mexico of $58 billion a year, and that doesn't include all the drugs that are pouring across and destroying our country. We're going to make them pay for that wall. Now, the wall is $10 billion to $12 billion if I do it. If these guys do it, it'll end up costing $200 billion. But the wall is 10 to 12 billion. You need 1,000 miles. The Great Wall of China, built 2,000 years ago, 2,000 is 13,000 miles. We need 1,000 because we have a lot of natural barriers. We can do it for 10 to 12, and it's a real wall. This is a wall that's a heck of a lot higher than the ceiling you're looking at. This is a wall that's going to work. Mexico will pay for it because they are not doing us any favors. They could stop all of this illegal trade if they wanted to immediately. Mexico will pay for the wall. It's a small portion of the kind of money that we lose and the deficits that we have with Mexico. If the
Americans don't pay for the wall, will you start a trade war with Mexico?
Well, I don't mind trade wars. Well, we're losing $58 billion a year. You want to know the truth? We're losing so much. We're losing so much with Mexico and China. With China, we're losing $500 billion a year. And then people say, oh, don't we want to trade? I don't mind trading, but I don't want to lose $500 billion. I don't want to lose $58 billion. Mexico just took Carrier Corporation, maker of air conditioners. They just took Ford. They're building a $2.5 billion plant. They just took Nabisco out of Chicago. And I always say I'm not having Oreos anymore, which is true, by the way. But they just took a big plant from Nabisco into Mexico. They're taking our businesses. I don't mind.
Senator Rubio. Yeah, a couple points. If he builds the wall the way he built Trump Tower, he'll be using illegal immigrant labor to do it.
Such a cute soundbite.
But no, it's not a soundbite. It's a fact. Yeah. Again, go online and Google it. Donald Trump, Polish workers. You'll see it. The second thing about the trade war, I don't understand, because your ties and the clothes you make is made in Mexico and in China. So you're going to be starting a trade war against your own ties and your own suits. All right.
You know what?
Why don't you make it in America?
No, devalue their currency.
Then make them in America.
It was such a pussy.
Well, you don't know anything about business. You
make them in America.
Let me just tell you. They devalue their currencies. China, Mexico, everybody, Japan, with the cards. They devalue their currencies to such an extent that our businesses cannot compete with them. Our workers lose their jobs.
So you make them in China.
You wouldn't know anything about it because you're allowed.
Hey, don't talk about each other.
You gotta do it.
I don't know anything
There are people who are $36,000 to go to Trump University. They're suing him now. $36,000 by the way, that's a fake school.
By the way,
and you know what they got? They got to take a picture with a cardboard cutout of Donald Trump.
And by the way,
that's what they got for the $36,000.
I want to move on. They actually did a very good job. But I've won most of the
Senator, I want to bring my colleague Maria Celeste.
No, I haven't.
He's talking the whole thing.
Here's the guy that buys a house for $179,000. He sells it to a lobbyist who's probably here for $380,000, and then legislation is passed. You tell me about this guy. This is what we're going to have.
Here's the guy that inherited $200 million. If he hadn't inherited $200 million, you know what Donald Trump is doing right now? Selling watches in Manhattan.
$1 million, and I turned it into $10 million. I borrowed $1 million.
So we can see how
I borrowed $1 million. I turned it into $10 million. More than that.
People are digging it. People are digging it.
Senator Rubio, last week you said that on your first day in office, you will get rid of President Obama's executive action known as Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, DACA for short. It is a program that has protected hundreds of thousands of young people that came here when they were children, brought to the U.S. by undocumented immigrants. This is the only one. And that is a dramatic change from last April when you said in Spanish, and I'm going to quote
Watch
you.
the comeback. I'm calling it.
DACA va a tener que terminar en algún momento.
Let's pick it in Spanish to y'all.
Cancelarlo inmediatamente, which translates to DACA is going to have to end at some point. But it wouldn't be fair to cancel it immediately. So, Senator,
I think Brian's in the queue trying to get
why is it now fair to cancel it on day one?
No, it's the same policy. It will have to end at some moment, and as I said, we will eliminate that executive order. The people that are on it now will not be allowed to renew it, and new applicants will not be allowed to apply to it. And it's not because we're not compassionate to the plight of someone who came here when they were 2 years old. I understand. I know people that are personally impacted by this. The problem with the executive order is it is unconstitutional. The president doesn't have the power to do that. And he himself...
You should be loud.
I'm sorry.
I knew this was happening all along. They were throwing so much shit my way last freaking...
No, but this is not about deportation. Everybody else goes...
This is about common collective. It's how you do it.
I will cancel it on my first day in office. Which means people who currently hold those permits will not be allowed to renew them when they expire. And new people will not be allowed to apply for them. Now, I am sympathetic to the plight of someone who came here when they were 2 or 3 years old through no fault of their own.
I'm going to just go ahead and let Cruz speak because this whole Marco and
no matter how sympathetic we may be, we cannot violate the Constitution of the United States the way this president now does on a regular basis.
Respect rhetoric, but like this is too much. Let other people talk.
Senator Rubio, you accused Senator Cruz in a previous debate of lying when he said that you said one thing in Spanish and another one in English. So in what sense did he lie?
Because it is not true that I'm not going to get rid of DACA. I am going to get rid of DACA. In the Spanish interview, you just read out the transcript in Spanish. I said it will have to end. At some point, that point will be when I eliminate the executive order, and the people who have those permits, when they expire, will not be allowed to renew it. And new people will not be able to apply. In fact, I don't even think we should be taking new enrollees in the program now. That is how the program ends and how you wind it down. Is you allow the people who are on it, when the program expires, they cannot renew it, and it goes away. But I will cancel the executive order as soon as I step foot into the Oval Office.
I have to say, he lied this time. He lied. 100%.
He lied.
100%.
You lied about the Polish Rocket.
Yeah.
You lied to the
38 years ago. 38 years ago.
He lied 38 years ago. All right, I guess there's a statute of limitation on lies.
This is pretty great. I'm with it.
Well, Maria, I would note that you made the exact same point here that I made at the last debate, and you're right that Senator Rubio called me a liar for saying that. You know, we've all seen at home when Washington politicians say about an illegal or unconstitutional program, well, it'll have to end someday, not immediately, but someday in the future. That inevitably is when a politician doesn't plan to end it at all. You know, I'm reminded of that is the same position that Marco took in Iowa on ethanol subsidies. When I campaigned in Iowa and the lobbyists took on the corporate welfare and said we should have no ethanol subsidies, Marco's position was the same as it is towards illegal amnesty. Well, someday it should end, just not now. And frankly, I think we need a president who knows what he believes and is willing to say it on day one, not at the end of his term when it's somebody else's problem.
That's not an accurate assessment of what I said about ethanol. What I said is ethanol will phase out. It is phasing out now. By 2022, that program expires by virtue of the existing law, and at that point, it will go away. I don't agree with the mandate and the program that's in place, but I think it's unfair that these people have gone out and invested all this money into this program, and we're just going to yank it away from them. And again, you read the statement in Spanish. I said very clearly on Spanish television, DACA will have to end at some point, and that point is, at that time, I was not a candidate for president. I said it will end on my first day in office as president, and the people who have it now will not be able to renew it, and new applicants will not be able to apply. That is the end of DACA. I am sympathetic to this cause, but once again, it cannot supersede the Constitution of the United States, which this president habitually and routinely every single day ignores and violates.
Senator Cruz.
Cruz looks so shocked. Like, oh my gosh.
Well, Rubio keeps saying it. That's not an accurate interpretation.
As a matter of fact, you are the first Hispanic to come up with what you really want to say. Or primary.
And Wes is really.
And yet there is a perception in the Latino community that instead of trying to prove to Latinos who has the best plan, the best platform to help them, that you two are spending the time arguing with each other, trying to figure out which one is tougher on immigration in order to appeal to the majority of Republicans. So my question to you is, are you missing a huge opportunity to expand the Republican base?
Well, Maria, listen, you are right. It is extraordinary that of the 5 people standing on this stage, the 2 of us are the chosen people. It really is an embodiment of the incredible opportunity and promise this nation provides. You know, I would know that a lot of folks in the media, the definition of Hispanic, only be Hispanic if you live out. That makes sense in the media, but I got to tell you, one of the things I was most proud of, when I ran for Senate here in Texas, I earned 40% of the Hispanic vote here in Texas. At the same time, Mitt Romney was getting clobbered with 27% of the Hispanic vote nationwide. And the reason is, as you know, you look at the values in the Hispanic community. The values in our community are faith, family, patriotism. You know, we've got the highest rate of military enlistment among Hispanics of any demographic in this country. And when I campaigned, and I campaigned the same here in Houston or Dallas as I did down in the Rio Grande Valley, defending conservative principles, defending Judeo-Christian principles, telling my father's story. telling my dad's story of coming to America with $100 in his underwear, not speaking English, washing dishes, having hopes and dreams for the American dream. And the truth is, the Obama-Clinton economy has done enormous damage to the Hispanic community. It is not working in the Hispanic community, and I am fighting so that everyone who is struggling in the Hispanic community and beyond will have a fair and even shake at the American dream.
Governor
I was mentioned tonight. I was mentioned in that statement. I was mentioned just because it's a Hispanic, and I'll be brief. A couple points. Number one, I do think it's amazing that on the stage tonight, there are two descendants of immigrants
Only
of Cuban
because
origin and an African American.
He wasn't even supposed to be talking about that.
And the second point I would make is that we have to move past this idea that somehow the Hispanic community only cares about immigration. Yes, it's an important issue because we know and love people that have been impacted by it. But I'm going to tell you the most powerful sentiment in the Hispanic community, as it is in every immigrant community, is the burning desire to leave your children better off than yourself. And you can only do that
in any community. Shut up.
Are you guys watching this?
All right. So what we're gonna do is we need to know. Huh?
Can't wait to the commercial.
I can't wait to the commercial. I'm being told weird.
Wait, so what has struck your mind? Like, what has struck you so far?
What has what?
The stroke.
What striked us so far?
Well, they ask you, Asha. Well,
you're asking stroking. You stroking her? That's what you're saying. That's what I'm asking. Are you stroking or are you striking? Which one are you doing?
I do a strike and a stroke. I can do both, obviously.
All right, Rubio.
But I think what has caught my attention at this point is amnesty, deportation, and return. I think I'm leaning towards the whole deportation and return thing. I think actually Ben Carson had the best policy for that when he was like, we should devise a 6-month plan for the illegal immigrants to become documented, and then if they are not documented in a certain amount of time, then they have to go.
Have to go, meaning like
they have to be deported. Yeah.
But the
So,
question,
like,
the question then becomes is, how do you find these people if they're illegal now?
Yes.
How are you going to make them come down and sign up? And if they don't sign up, how do you find them? That's the same thing with Rubio's plan is all these people that have overstayed their visa. How do you find them now? Because if there was a problem, we would know where they are and it'd be no problem to go get them.
The FEMA camps that we have, FEMA camps that we have all around.
That's why Trump's plan is the best. We going door to door, we hiring more agents, we kicking doors, and we taking names.
Stop! No, I do not want that to happen, Wes.
All you gotta do is stand outside and say, "Ain't nobody in my house, man." You be all right. Show your ID, you be good.
All right, and your ass end up in a FEMA camp.
But I feel like in order for them to be documented, they have to know that they're not going to be granted amnesty, but they have to know that it's going to be okay if they come forth.
I think that has a whole. They should get granted amnesty to the sense that they just get on working papers, not just citizenship that could affect voting and so forth. But
send them home.
You have people being here like 10 years. If you give them some kind of papers, they still have to start paying taxes, and they're also kind of legal.
Yeah,
and
that's
also,
what Ben Carson is saying. They have to pay all the back taxes.
But they ain't got no money for that.
No, I didn't say to pay taxes, but just be involved into paying taxes. Okay. Whether it's like you file for taxes, file for that has a whole, and also it's a way for you to keep a tab on them. See, like, well, this guy,
they need to pay back.
And also, if the people have committed a crime, they should get penalized. And
they're using my roads, they're using my street lights that I pay for with my taxes.
But at the same token, they have already committed the crime. That's why I don't understand how Cruz can just go completely from one end of the spectrum to the other. And Donald has stood steady the whole time. Get them out. Bring those that are productive back. Put them through the program. Put them on the list. Bring them back, because that's the only way. You can't go farm. You can't go around finding people with dead visas. You can't go around finding illegal, undocumented. Them people ain't gonna come out. Most of them, I'm not gonna say most of them. There are a lot of gang members. I mean, I've lived in Phoenix. I've dwelled in LA and San Diego. I've been I walked across the border many a times in LA and San Diego. Or not LA, but San Diego and Tucson. I know Galveston, Chihuahua. I walked across the border in El Paso. There is literally no border in Brownsville, Texas. It's just open road. There is no border down there. And so that's the only way you can do it. Everybody has to come back through the process. It makes the most sense. And if you really look at the issue, he is the only one who has been straight.
Yeah.
Study on that, and it just throws me. Like everybody knows Rubio and his plans, and everybody's watch Cruz.
What's going on with Carson? Everybody on Twitter is saying Carson equals buzzkill. What did he say?
He didn't
You know,
do
smart people kill it.
when we switched over, he was talking, so we had him on mute. But we're gonna go ahead and listen back in right now.
Electable
No.
candidate in a general election?
First of all, I don't believe anything Telemundo says.
You used to say
Number one.
that, you don't.
Number one. Number two. I personally employed thousands of Hispanics, and over the years I've employed tens of thousands of Hispanics. They're incredible people. They know, and the reason I won in Nevada, not only won the big one, but I also won subs. Like, as an example, I won with women. I won with every single category. I won with men. I won with high income, low income. I won with Hispanics. And I got 46%. Nobody else was close because they know I'm going to bring jobs back from China, from Japan, from so many other places. They get it. They're incredible people. They're incredible workers. They get it. And I've won many of the polls with Hispanics. I didn't maybe win the Telemundo poll. But one thing I'm also going to do, I'm going to be bringing a lot of people in who are Democrats, who are independents, and you're seeing that with the polls. Because if you look at look at any of the elections, every single election, it's been record-setting. And the good news is for the Republican Party, the Democrats are getting very poor numbers in terms of bringing them in. We're getting record-setting numbers. I think I have something to do with that. We're getting record-setting numbers. And I won every one, the three of them that I won with record-setting numbers. New people are coming into the Republican Party. We are building a new Republican Party. A lot of new people are coming in.
Spanish people don't like you.
For the record, you have said publicly that you loved Telemundo in the past. But it is not just the
Get them
Telemundo.
together, girl.
I love them. I love them.
All right, well, it's not the only poll.
They're fine.
Just last night, the Washington Post showed that 80% of voters in their polls unbothered. And concerning the Nevada victory, allow me to explain.
Even though you're wrong, it makes it look like you're right, and that's what Trump does. He was an orator.
There's a couple of videos out there that explain like a spinning few the techniques he uses.
It's genetics. Like I can do the same thing. It's scary.
He had a lot of practice with it. Yeah, practice is part of it. That was part of it.
But people can say it too. Like, remember war. Like, I don't like. Who knows what that school is? That's how prestigious that school is. Come on. That's business. Business. How we communicate. He started talking about it. And so it's one of those things where I'm better off just watching him and learning from him and trying to do it.
Trump, he's seen.
Supreme Court has become a major issue. The trust was supposed to nominate
passing underscores the enormous Cecilia was someone I knew personally for 20 years. With his passing, the court is now hanging in the balance. We are one liberal justice and a five-justice leftist majority that would undermine our religious liberty, that would undermine the right to life, and that would fundamentally erase the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms from the Constitution. Now, I think the voters of Texas, the voters across Super Tuesday are assessing everyone standing on this stage. In the past, Republican presidents always promise to nominate strict constitutionalists. So I'm certain if you took a survey, everyone would say they would do that. But the reality is Democrats bat about 1,000. Just about everyone they put on the court votes exactly as they want. Republicans have batted worse than 500. More than half of the people we put on the court have been a disaster. I've spent my whole life fighting to defend the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. I can tell you for voters that care about life or marriage or religious liberty or the Second Amendment, They're asking the question, who do you know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, who do you know will nominate principled constitutionalists to the court? I give you my word, every justice I nominate will vigorously defend the Bill of Rights for my children and for yours.
Mr. Trump. Senator Cruz mentioned the issue.
Hey, DJ Big Dad, he's back.
Churches, Catholic and Christian colleges, Catholic adoption agencies, all sorts of religious institutions fear that Hobby Lobby, if it's repealed, it was a 5-4 decision, they're going to have to bend their knee and provide morning after pills. They fear that if Bob Jones is expanded, they will lose their tax exemption. Will you commit to voters tonight that religious liberty will be an absolute litmus test for anyone you appoint, not just for the Supreme Court?
I wonder how they're choosing to ask
Yes, I would, and I've been there, and I've been there very strongly. I do have to say something, and this is interesting, and it's not anybody's fault. It's not Ted's fault. Justice Roberts was strongly recommended and pushed by Ted. Justice Roberts gave us Obamacare, might as well be called Roberts Care. 2 times of the Supreme Court, Justice Roberts approved something that he should have never raised his hand to approve. And we ended up with Obamacare. That is a rough thing, and I know Ted feels badly about it, and I think he probably still respects the judge, but that judge has been a disaster in terms of everything we stand for, because there's no way that he should have approved Obamacare. Now, with that being said, these are the things that happened. But Ted very, very strongly pushed Judge Roberts, and Justice Roberts gave us something that we don't want.
Ted Cruz, Senator, the Chief Justice got Hobby Lobby right, but what do you make of Mr. Cruz's criticism?
Well, listen, Donald knows that it was George W. Bush who appointed John Roberts. Yes, it's true. I supported the Republican nominee once he was made, but I would not have nominated John Roberts. I would have nominated my former boss, Mike Ludick, who was the strongest proven conservative on the Court of Appeals. And I'll tell you, Hugh, it's interesting now that Donald promises that he will appoint justices who will defend religious liberty. But this is a man who for 40 years has given money to Jimmy Carter, to Joe Biden, to Hillary Clinton, to Chuck Schumer, to Harry Reid. Nobody who supports far left liberal Democrats who are fighting for judicial activists can possibly care about having principled constitutionalists on the court. And what Donald has told us is he will go to Washington and cut a deal. So that means on Supreme Court, he's going to look to cut a deal rather than fight for someone who won't cut a deal on the Constitution but will defend it faithfully.
Let me just say this. Look, I watched Ted, and I respected it, but it gets nowhere. Stand on the Senate floor for a day, 2 days, and talk and talk and talk. I watched the other senators laughing and smiling, and when Ted was totally exhausted, he left the Senate floor, and they went back to work, okay? We have to have somebody that's going to make deals. It's wonderful to stand up for 2 days and do that. Now, Ted's been very critical. I have a sister who's a brilliant judge. He's been criticizing my sister for signing a certain bill. You know who else signed that bill? Justice Samuel Alito, a very conservative member of the Supreme Court, with my sister signed that bill. So I think that maybe we should get a little bit of an apology from Ted.
There's only 5 people there.
Senator, okay. Let me tell you right now, Donald, I will not apologize for a minute for defending the Constitution. I will not apologize for defending the Bill of Rights. And I find it amazing that your answer to you and to the American people is on religious liberty. You can't have one of these crazy zealots that actually believes in it. You got to be willing to cut a deal. And, you know, there is a reason why when Harry Reid was asked of all the people on this stage, who does he want the most? Who does he like the most? Harry Reid said Donald Trump. Why? Because Donald has supported him in the past, and he knows he can cut a deal with him. You know what, Donald? I don't want a Supreme Court justice that you cut a deal with Harry Reid to undermine religious liberty. That same justice will also erase the Second Amendment.
When you say crazy zealot, are you talking about you, crazy zealot? Give me a break.
Senator Rubio, you've heard this exchange on religious liberty. Yeah. You have said that religious liberty will trump even the ability of people to stay away from same-sex marriages, not provide flowers, not provide baked goods, etc. Are you satisfied with this exchange on religious liberty?
Well, I think you ask a very important question, because the issue here about the next president of the United States has to fill this vacancy. Justice Scalia In the history of the Republic, there has never been anyone better than him at standing for the principle that the Constitution is not a living and breathing document. It is supposed to be applied as originally meant. And the next president of the United States has to be someone that you can trust and believe in to appoint someone just as good as Scalia, plus there may be at least 2 other vacancies. So you ask Mr. Trump to respond and say that he would, and he says that he would, but the bottom line is if you look at his record over the last 25 or 30 years, on issue after issue, he has not been on our side. Now, if he's changed, we're always looking for converts into the conservative movement. But the bottom line is that you don't have a record there to look at and say, I feel at peace that when Donald Trump is president of the United States, he's going to be firmly on our side on these issues. In fact, very recently, he was still defending Planned Parenthood. He says he's not going to take sides in the Palestinians versus Israel. These are concerning things. And so, yes, I have a doubt about whether Donald Trump, if he becomes president, will replace Justice Scalia with someone just like Justice Scalia.
Mr. Trump. Well, let me just say, first of all, I had great respect for Justice Scalia. I thought he was terrific. And if you talk about evolving, Ronald Reagan was a somewhat liberal Democrat. Ronald Reagan evolved into a somewhat strong conservative. More importantly, he was a great president. A great president.
What's good, man?
As far as Planned Parenthood is concerned, I'm pro-life. I'm totally against abortion. Yeah, millions and millions of women.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. So, to summarize it, so far the debate has started off pretty well, and right now it's taking a dive into just, blah, 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 and going back and forth. But, Sean, have you seen the debate from the beginning, or you just picked it up from when you got here?
No, I haven't been paying attention at all. Sorry. I came in the other night. I just wanted to come back in and say hello. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind watching Donald Trump, but sometimes he gets too much for me, and I can't really pay attention anymore.
Yeah. Well, so far they have been speaking about the biggest issue so far has been immigration. It gets talked about a lot. It gets thrown out. Right now they're talking about the Supreme Court and the Scalia replacement, whether Donald Trump is going to pick a conservative if he were to be the president, which is a horrible question to ask if you don't want the person to be the president. But that's pretty much what is going right now. What do you think, Wes? What do you make of it so far?
Do you think Donald Trump is in a position to even say whether or not he would appoint a conservative?
As of yet, I don't see why they go back and forth with this, because Rubio even said it. If you go back 25, 30 years, there's no record there. So why even speak on it? Like, I honestly believe the media is having Cruz and Rubio destroy themselves by not asking one question. By not asking but make it worse is they fall for it every time. They're literally showing them that people aren't stupid. That's what they do. I don't see why Rubio and Cruz don't get this. People are not stupid. They understand what male dominance looks like, and they understand what certainty looks like. When you go and attack somebody asks you a question, and you want to attack somebody, and then they go back and forth for 5 minutes about it. It's just they're literally just having these two people destroy themselves, because it makes them seem like they have no morals and principles to stand on their own. Like, they have to piggyback off of Donald first, and then attack to try to prove him wrong. But at the end of the day, he'll sit there and throw his hands up. Yes.
So would you not be on the defense as well if you were in their spot?
No, because if I want to be the president of the United States and I want to beat Donald Trump would not be a problem to me. I would address what I plan on doing, why I plan on doing it, and I would let Donald Trump flounder on his own, because if left to his own devices, he will destroy himself.
Yeah, he will
speak and say nothing.
Very good point, Bess. Very good.
Brian, are you still with us? I don't think Brian.
He's typing.
Oh, okay.
But when you give him the opportunity to defend himself and show and just let him destroy you as he's doing, then people are going to automatically go, I have no clue what these two are doing and what they're talking about and why they're even attacking this man. Like, you don't attack the winner. You do better than the winner. That's how you win.
I don't think that's accurate. I feel like when it comes to like politics and this, you should attack who's the one who's winning to see if you can take him down, in the sense of like getting more votes your way. I think their strategy.
How are you going to help the American people? Because the government works for us. It's not about who you're going to win against. It's more or less like, what are you going to do to help the Americans, basically? You know?
Pedro, let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
If you had to go get somebody, and you knew attacking them head on you would lose, but you could wait 3 or 4 days and take the long route, come up from behind them and win, which would you do?
I think that's
like, no, not even. It's not hypothetical. I'm saying if you know these things are a fact, you want to attack him straight on like a dog, But you can wait like a cat and sneak up on his blind side because why? You have your own morals and principles and values to stand on, and that's what's moving everything forward. But
I'll tell you,
it's the media too, though.
That strategy has not worked. That strategy of wait and creep up on Trump and knock him out. It hasn't been working. I mean, come on, it's working
for Rubio. Rubio's been
no. I feel like tonight Rubio has been more outspoken in the sense of like going straight to
against
to Trump. Yeah, that's good. But the whole approach of like let him, be quiet and creep up, it hasn't been working because Donald Trump won back to back. And
honestly, how long? But Rubio's been talking for the longest now. It's like he's never even taken a different approach to say, you know what, I'm not worried about Donald Trump because he's running his own campaign. He's doing his thing over there. This is what we're doing it, and this is why we're doing it. But when you attack somebody, especially in politics, and it's just talking, it makes you seem really weak. I don't trust me. So trust me. A lot of the American people look at him as weak, especially women. Women can.
Who are you saying? Marco Rubio or Ted Cruz? Who are you saying?
Both of them, because they're both playing right into it, and Donald Trump doesn't care. He doesn't care,
and I think that's fine. I mean, but that's what the whole elections and the whole race to the office is all about. They throw. It's like whoever wins, whoever throws more shade at the other person. Like, what do you think? That's what it's coming to. That's what it's always. No, that's what it always has been. What are you guys talking about?
The American people are seeing through that now.
It's always been that way. What do you think about these ads that they trashing this person, trashing that person? It's been that way.
America from an outside view.
But Pedro, that's what Kevin just said. People are now seeing through that. People are turning off their TVs and not caring anymore. Let the man say what he want to say because that's how I feel too. You see what I mean?
I feel like anybody who goes out of their way to watch the debate,
Rubio people don't listen. They don't listen.
If Donald Trump can say what he wants and is entitled to, why can't somebody say something what they want to say and they're not entitled to? That's not fair.
Only thing I think.
I mean, I'm not saying, but honestly, Pedro, it's not about honestly, the game of politics is not about beating somebody else. It's about strategy. And honestly, they're using a very poor strategy to win. They're not playing to win. They're playing to defend themselves. Yeah. They're not even playing to attack because they can't come with good information. If you come with good information to honestly shut him up, then you win. But you're not gonna shut him up. He's been doing this too long. He's been dealing with real monsters in the business world. Billionaire monsters out there who really
these are men who are huge egos. So he's dealing with combative people who think they're better. So that's why Trump isn't he's unbothered when all these guys like try to come to him because he was the guy who was contributing to their campaigns at one point. So just to him, it's like he's in an office with like beginners. Basically, that's how he that's his attitude.
Honestly, he's on The Apprentice. That's how he feels.
Yeah, basically.
What about you, Sean? What do you think about it so far? What do you think about that? And politicians throwing shots at each other, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. What's your take on it?
I think I might have said it last time. I really think Trump is just the fall guy. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's just there to lose. They've already made their decision on who's going to win. I really think there's a higher power involved, but I guess this is not really the platform for that. But
yes, it is. Because I'm into conspiracy theories, and I know what you're going to, and I completely understand. I get it.
No, you're not. Go ahead. Finish, Sean.
No, yeah, I feel like there's already set path on who's going to win, and and that's my honest belief. Like, I feel like they're going to control whoever's in office, but I'd really like to see the people, back a people person. I kind of feel like of all this stuff I've seen so far, the one person that has accepted the least amount of money from the big people in the world, the big bankers and the lobbyists. Yeah, and I don't understand why people get into this, like all these massive amounts of supporters show up for these people who are just making tons and millions of dollars. Like,
that's because they believe in them.
Well, you believe in someone who's going to be more powerful and involved in money. Like, I just don't get it. I guess that's great that our company, we look
so
at.
Let me ask you this: would you support any of these candidates if you were to receive a check of $100,000?
No, I would not.
There's no amount of money that you will take in way for you to support any of these candidates? Doesn't have to be this one. Could be the Democratic too.
No. I think.
Because then, what are you doing it for? Then, like, what is the politician? What is the political game? What is the political race for you? Then, is it like
so we can complain next year? That's what
is it like?
Says this. They end up just complaining next year and the year after and the year after because they never get involved in the process. They never, like I say, they never understand the law so that they can put themselves in a position to succeed. They rather sit back and say, "Oh, woe is me," and then when he does this, I'm gonna say this, and this, and it's not fair. It's a rigged system. But listen, if enough people get pissed off, which they probably will after this don't win, you will probably be looking at some type of upheaval. Okay. Even if that's
some people don't even think that there's going to be a next president. Some people think that Obama might executive order another term because something's about to hit the fan soon.
Like 80% of the military, but you got to understand too, though, like 80% of the military is hip to the game. Like
a lot of them, when they go in and come out,
they hip to the game now. So it's a lot of military men voting for Trump. So if the man don't win, it'll probably be like some South American type shit where people break off in the factions and
Wait, you mean if Trump doesn't? You mean
man?
When people are gonna be angry?
Oh man, there's gonna be a lot of pissed people.
No,
pissed people. I don't think it's gonna be. I think people will be more angry if he won than if he didn't.
I think that would be the case.
It could be. Let's see. Well, with that being said, March
because he's saying too many true things for people to that if he wins, no, he's saying too many true things.
But like how? Like what do you mean like true things? Like what true things?
This is only one side. It's only one side. It's only the Republican one. You gotta think about it. There's a lot of people who don't even get involved with the Republicans or Democrats because they're none.
Yeah.
There's people who don't take part into it. You know, so that's something to take into account.
There are a lot of people on the Democratic side that won't vote. There are a lot of people on the Democratic side who are going to come over. So if there is a low turnout, well, that's what people don't understand. Exactly. And then people don't understand that if there's a low turnout and everybody just wants to vote for Trump, and nobody wants to vote, he could win by default. And people are not understanding. We're really like seeing that. They're like, there are all these other
problem.
People count these votes.
They vote, but they have an opinion.
Like, it's crazy because people say there are these other votes out there that we got to go get. And obviously, they're not voting for you now. What makes you think they'll show up next time? If they don't want to vote for Trump, they won't vote for anybody. So the people who want Trump in will vote him in.
Mm-hmm.
It's before the break to like, after Obama says, like, Trump will never be president. Like, how
he said that?
Yeah.
He did. Yeah.
Everybody said that.
Okay.
So
Jeb said it. Hillary said it.
That's interesting. Like, if he were to become president, I don't think he would. Like, I don't know, because Obama's tied in with so many big people. It's just like they all work off ego. So it's like if that were to be like something that'd be a huge hit to his ego if Trump ended up being in office.
Okay, guys, we're gonna get back to the debate right now and see what's being said.
Governor, let me just go back to the original question about the individual mandate. In 1994, when you were in Congress, you proposed a plan requiring an individual mandate. So what changed?
Well, Dan, the Heritage Foundation had this position as well. And when I look at it, I don't think it's tenable. And we don't need to do that. Again, I'm telling you that we have a proposal, a plan that we're enacting now that says if you are a hospital or a doctor and you're providing very high quality at lower prices below the midpoint, some charge high, some charge low. If you are below the midpoint, we're going to give you a financial reward for allowing you to provide services that result in high quality for our people at lower prices. That is the way in which we are going to damp down the rising costs of healthcare. Because if you think about your own deductibles today, they're going higher, higher, and higher. And you know what? At some point, people can't afford it. Our plan will work. It uses the market. It uses transparency. It gets the patient in the middle. And guess what? We're actually doing it in my state, the 7th largest state in the country. And if this will go, national, we will get our hands on healthcare where you will know what's going on. We will pay for quality, lower prices, and we will begin to see healthcare become affordable in America, and where people will also be able to have health insurance even if they have a pre-existing condition. We don't want to throw millions of people out into the cold and not have the health insurance, Dana. So that's really what we're doing. This is not a theory. This is what we are actually doing in our state. We will begin payments next year based on episodes that we have in our lives. If our primary care physicians keep us healthy for a year and with really high quality, guess what? They will get a financial reward. Our primary care physicians need help. They need support. We're losing them. This will allow them to get a reward for doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Carson, you have dealt with the sickest of patients. You support covering pre-existing conditions. How would you change Obamacare but maintain that coverage?
Well, first of all, health care is not a right, but I do believe it is a responsibility for a responsible society, and we are that. We spend almost twice as much per capita on health care as many other nations who have actually much better access than we do. I propose a system in which we use health empowerment accounts, which are like a health savings account with no bureaucrats. And we give it to everybody from birth until death. They can pass it on when they die. We pay for it with the same dollars that we pay for traditional health care with. We give people the ability to shift money within their health empowerment account within their family. So if dad's $500 short, mom can give it to him, or cousin or uncle. And it makes every family their own insurance carrier with no middleman. It gives you enormous flexibility. And also, you know, if Uncle Joe is smoking like a chimney, everybody's going to hide his cigarettes because they're all interested in what's going on there. Also, your catastrophic health care is going to cost a lot less money now because the only thing coming out of that is catastrophic health care. So it's like a homeowner's policy with a large deductible versus a homeowner's policy where you want every scratch covered. One costs $1,500 a year, one costs $10,000 a year. You can buy the $1,500 one. That will take care of 75% of the people. The people who are indigent, how do we take care of them now? Medicaid. What's the Medicaid budget? Almost $500 billion. Almost 80 million people participate, which is way too many, and that'll get a lot better when we fix the economy, which I hope we get a chance to talk about. But do the math, over $5,000 for each man, woman, and child, and they will have a lot more flexibility. What could you buy with that? A concierge practice. And you can still have thousands of dollars left over. And let me just finish, because I don't get to talk that much. And, you have the money that's left over to buy your catastrophic insurance, but most importantly, we give them a menu just like we do in Medicare Part C.
We're currently watching the debate,
and they have
Republican
the
debate in
choices
Houston.
that will allow them not only to have catastrophic health care, but drug care and everything else. It would be such a good program that nobody will want Obamacare after that. And that's probably the best way to do it, although if anybody still did, I would still defund it.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Carson. Let's talk about the economy.
Does everyone get to address Obamacare but me?
I'm going to move on, but there'll be plenty of opportunities for you to address.
An issue I have a long history with.
I know you do it. And, all right, go ahead.
Thank you. How do you get that extra time, Cruz? You know, this is another issue on which our disagreements. Planned Parenthood, he thinks Planned Parenthood is wonderful. I would instruct the Department of Justice to investigate them and prosecute any and all criminal violations. On Obamacare, both Donald and I say we want to end it, but for very different reasons. I want to end it because it goes too far, it's killed millions of jobs, and it's hurting people's health care. Donald wants to end it because he says it doesn't go nearly far enough. And what was amazing in that exchange that was missing is for decades, Donald has been advocating socialized medicine. What he said is the government should pay for everyone's health care. And in fact, a couple of debates ago, he said, if you don't support socialized health care, you're heartless. Now, liberal Democrats have been saying that for years. Now, let me tell you, if you're a small business owner, Donald Trump's socialized medicine, putting the government in charge of your health care, would kill more jobs than Obamacare. And if you're elderly, the results of socialized medicine in every country on earth that it's implemented has been rationing, has been the government saying, no, you don't get that hip replacement, you don't get that knee replacement. The government is in charge of your health care. I'll tell you this, as president, Senator, I will repeal every word of Obamacare.
Thank you. Mr. Trump.
It's okay, Chad. We'll get an opportunity to talk.
Socialized medicine, just so you understand. He goes around saying, oh, he wants it. I do not want socialized medicine. I do agree with him that it's going to be a disaster, Obamacare, for the economy. In 2017, it's going to be impossible for us to pay for it if you look at what's going on. That's why it has to be repealed for a lot of reasons. Number one, it doesn't work.
Number two, premiums, you look at premiums going up 25, 35, even 45% and more. We have to get rid of Obamacare. It is going to destroy our economy completely. Our economy is not doing well. It is going to destroy our economy greatly. And on that, I agree.
Donald, true or false, you said the government should pay for everyone's health care?
That's false.
You've never
That's
said
false.
that.
No, I never. I said it worked in a couple of countries,
But
I
you
never
never
said
stood on this debate stage and said, Scotland, we should do it here. Did you say if you want people to die on the streets, if you don't support sexualized health care, you have no heart?
I will
Did you
not
say
let
you're a
people
liberal
die on
on
the
health
streets
care?
if I'm president.
Have you said you're a liberal on health care?
Let me talk.
Explain your plan, please.
My plan is very simple. I will not, we're going to have private health care, but I will not allow people to die on the sidewalks and the streets of our country if I'm president. You may let it, and you may be fine
So
with
does
it.
the government pay
I'm
for
not
everyone's
fine with it.
healthcare?
We are
You
going
said
to
those
Come on. We are going to take those people, and those people are going to be serviced by doctors and hospitals. We're going to make great deals on it, but we're not going to let them die in the street.
Who pays for it?
Okay, so who pays for it if healthcare is privatized?
Please, I want to move on. I want to talk about the economy.
People die on the street. Support the government would pay for it.
You know what? Call it what you want. People are not going to be dying.
All of you have agreed. All of you have agreed to the rules. I want to move on. We're talking about the economy right now. Mr. Trump, you want to cut taxes more than President Ronald Reagan did, more than President George W. Bush did. The Independent Tax Foundation says the cost to the country of your proposal would be about $10 trillion, and that takes into account the economic growth that would emerge from your proposed tax cuts. How would you cut $10 trillion over 10 years, but make sure the country isn't saddled with even more debt?
Because the country will become a dynamic economy. We'll be dynamic again. You look at what's going on. We have the highest taxes anywhere in the world. We pay more business tax. We pay more personal tax. We have the highest taxes in the world. It's shutting off our economy. It's shutting off our country. We have trillions of dollars outside that we can't get in. Yes, we will do my tax plan, and it will be great. We will have a dynamic economy again.
What specific cuts will you make to pay for that tax cut?
We're going to make many cuts in business. We're going to get rid of so many different things. Department of Education, Common Core is out. We're going local. Have to go local. Environmental protection. We waste all of this money. We're going to bring that back to the states. And we're going to have other things, many things. We are going to cut many of the agencies. We will balance our budget, and we will be dynamic again.
Mr. Trump, if you eliminate completely the Department of Education as you have proposed, that's about $68 billion. If you eliminate the Environmental Protection Agency, that's about $8 billion. That's about $76 billion for those two agencies. The current deficit this year is $544 billion. Where are you going to come up with the money?
Fraud, and abuse all over the place. Waste, fraud, and abuse. You look at what's happening with Social Security. You look at what's happening with every agency. Waste, fraud, and abuse. We will cut so much, your head will spin.
Governor Kasich, when you were in Congress, you were chairman of the Budget Committee. You helped craft the last balanced budget the United States had. Can Mr. Trump's plan work?
Well, I think it takes three things, Wolf, and I've done it. I mean, we got the budget balanced, we cut the capital gains tax. You see, in order to get this economy moving again, you have to grow the economy and you have to restrain the spending. And when I was chairman, we cut that capital gains tax and we instituted a significant program to get to balance. We had a balanced budget 4 years in a row, had to take on every interest group in Washington, every single one of them. And we paid down $500 billion of the national debt. And why do you do it? Because you want job growth. If you don't have regulatory reform, common sense regulations, reasonable tax cuts, which I have, and a fiscal plan, you won't get there. You will never be able to do it. Now, I inherited an $8 billion hole in Ohio. I have common sense regulations. I have tax cuts, the biggest of any governor in the country, and we have a fiscal plan. And it's not always cutting, it's innovating, it's producing a better product at frankly a lower price. Now we have a $2 billion surplus. Our credit is strong. Our pensions are strong. And look, I've got a plan to take to Washington, and I will have it there in the first 100 days, and it will include shipping welfare, education, transportation, Medicaid, and job training back to us so we can begin in the states to be the laboratories of innovation. I've done it. I did it in Washington. 4 years of balanced budgets. No one can even believe it happened. I've done it in Ohio. We're growing. The jobs are up, and people are having opportunity. I'm going to go back to Washington and do it again for the American people. I promise you that within the first 100 days, we will have the plan to get this done.
I bet if Peter were here, he would be wanting to hear what Casey has to say.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I just want to say, and I'm a big fan of the governor, but they also struck oil. Okay, so that helped Ohio a lot.
Let me just talk about that, because I know that Donald believes the energy industry is important. So do I. But of the over 400,000 jobs that we've created in the state, we think maybe 15,000 are connected to this industry because it's early stage. See, what we've done in Ohio and what a president needs to do is to have a cabinet and a whole operation that's jobs friendly. We have diversified our economy. We do have energy, we have medical devices, we have financial services, we have IT. We just got Amazon, their cloud computing in the Midwest. You know why it's happening? Because we're balanced budgets, we're strong, we're job friendly, we don't raise their taxes, and if we have a president that does that in America, we will get the economic growth, and that is what this country needs. Jobs, jobs, and jobs, period.
Mr. Trump. Yesterday, the last Republican presidential nominee, Mitt Romney, called on you to release your back tax returns. He said, and I'm quoting him, there was a bombshell in them. Romney said either you're not as wealthy as you say you are, he said maybe you haven't paid the kind of taxes we would expect you to pay, or you haven't been giving the money to veterans or disabled people. Are any of those accusations that he has leveled true?
First of all, let me just explain. I was the first one to file a financial disclosure form, almost 100 pages. You don't learn anything about somebody's wealth with a tax return. You learn it from statements. I filed, which shows that I'm worth over $10 billion. I built a great company with very little debt. People were shocked. The people in the back, the reporters, they were shocked when they went down. And I filed it on time. I didn't ask for 5 45-day extensions, which I would have been entitled to. So as far as that's concerned, I filed it, and that's where you find out what kind of a company. You don't learn anything from a tax return. I will say this. Mitt Romney looked like a fool when he delayed and delayed and delayed, and Harry Reid baited him so beautifully. And Mitt Romney didn't file his return until September 21st of 2012, about a month and a half before the election. And it cost him bigly. As far as my return, I want to file it. Except for many years, I've been audited every year. 12 years or something like that. Every year they audit me. Nobody gets audited. I have friends that are very wealthy people. They never get audited. I get audited every year. I will absolutely give my return, but I'm being audited now for 2 or 3 years, so I can't do it until the audit is finished, obviously, and I think people would understand that.
Hugh, go ahead.
Mr. Trump.
This question
Every single question comes to me.
Mr. Trump.
I know I'm here for ratings, but it's a little bit ridiculous.
No, but Mr. Trump, a year ago, you told me on my radio show, the audio and the transcript are out there on YouTube, that you would release your tax.
So you win it, you're in the head.
So you're going back on your...
No, I'm not. First of all, very few people listen to your radio show. That's the good news. Let me just tell you. Check out the ratings. Look, let me just tell you something. I want to release my tax returns, but I can't release it while I'm under an audit. We're under a routine audit. I've had it for years. I get audited. And obviously, if I'm being audited, I'm not going to release a return. As soon as the audit is done, I love it.
Okay, so, Mr. Senator Rubio, Mitt Romney should release your tax returns. Your campaign said last spring that you would release your tax.
This
clearly, clearly this has gone to something like personal attacks against Donald Trump.
What?
Do you think it is necessary for him to show his tax returns, even though he's clearly explained that he's not in a place to do it right now, but he has no problem doing it?
Yes, obviously, he definitely should release the tax returns. I mean, that's whatever your president, candidate for president should do, and that's what Mitt Romney was getting a lot of backlash for doing it. Now, with that, it is interesting that all those questions are being asked to him, and it's obviously because he's the number one candidate right now. He's the number one. I mean, if you can't take the heat, you gotta get out of the kitchen, kind of thing. But I mean, I like where it's going. I mean, for what he said in the sense of like, oh, nobody listens to your radio show. I mean, he didn't have to do that, but that's his tactic, his way to get people to talk about it and talk about him. But I mean, he's winning. You're winning. You gotta face the consequences.
What about you, Kanisha? What do you think about the debate so far? Because I know you're just joining us in right now.
I'm just joking. No.
But let me just give you a quick brief through of what's going on. We've pretty much been tackling immigration and going back and forth in regards to statements that Trump has made in the past in regards to being pro-choice, then going to pro-life, and so on and so forth. So in regards to the candidates right now, who do you see as the most viable?
If you had to choose a Republican candidate out of the Republican candidates, based on what Kevin just said, who you choose?
Personally, I haven't even followed the Republican Party at all. Right?
What would you call them?
What I call the Republican Party?
Yeah.
They're old people.
Yeah, they don't see the future. Like, they need to give people more rights, more space. That's what I believe. I don't know. Women's
Well, I mean, they're conservative. They're like the complete opposite of the Democrats. So they have no choice but to make these stances on anything like social. Like, most of them don't believe in gay rights. Most of them don't believe in marijuana rights. Yeah, most of them believe that abortion should be government regulated.
Well, that body is, an American free body. They're not allowed to touch that body. That's what I'm saying.
If I actually want the baby. If I want the baby, then we have a problem because you're going to keep it.
I know it's the woman's choice, honestly, but it should be a decision.
It should be the woman's choice because it's the woman's body.
But it's our juice.
Okay.
But it's also there's something you guys gotta think.
Contractions.
Contracting already.
Something you guys gotta think about it. That's not a strategy by any heavy religious government, because they want people. Obviously, like America is a heavy Christian country. It's not exactly, it's not 100%, but it's a heavily Christian country. So the more people that religion can have, the better. That's why religions don't like are opposed of like abortion and like condoms and stuff. Because the more people they can have for their religion, the better. The more people they can have to spread the word for their own religion in particular, the better. That's why conservative and so forth opposed. I mean, I'm not with it. I totally, I'm all for having an option. Like, hey, why not? I mean, if we are in 2016 and we can have that, I mean, hey, by all means. And Jonah just posted that yes, a woman body. It's a woman's body, but it only takes two to conceive, and that is true. American perspective should be taken into consideration regardless of the woman's ultimate decision.
Well, they both want the abortion.
The government technically, if we're going to vote for a Republican, then they will the government will still have the final say in it.
Yeah. Well, that's in some states, though.
Yeah.
It's not in all states.
Yeah, it can be state regulated.
But the fact, what I'm trying to get to is like, if we have the option to do that, if it's a possibility and then it's a healthy thing, and it might not be like the healthiest thing a woman could do, but if it's something that like if we have iPhones and we can fly from here to like LA in like 6 hours, like, why can't we have that
an abortion app
as a whole? Not as a boy. I mean, you're not
an abortion app.
I mean, why not? Why can't you go to the app and see what's up? Like, where's the closest? Like, clinic. Yeah, I mean,
oh my goodness,
it's almost like it's a tough issue, obviously, because people are biased about it, and it's a tough thing to talk about.
And in regards to healthcare, it's come down to whether it should be privatized or not, or if they should work with Obamacare. But everybody wants to repeal Obamacare. Nobody wants that to be. But don't you think privatizing healthcare will make it so that it's more expensive for those who can't afford it? Like,
because that's who they want to die out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's so true.
Trump says he will find a way to make it so that those who can't afford private health care, they won't just die on the side of the street. He didn't say what. Huh?
We'll go to high places.
It won't be on the side of the street. We're gonna give us our own little, campsite.
I think with privatizing on healthcare, it's like it gives those private companies the power to set up the price to whatever they see fit.
Right.
So that's when it might be difficult. That's what might be tough because they could pay.
Well, that's how it
raise
was, I
the
guess,
price
in the sense beforehand, before Obamacare was in place. Yeah,
something like that. Which it kind of worked and so forth. But I feel like the whole thing has. And I don't know how many of you guys know the whole thing about Obamacare. If you don't have health care when you file for your taxes, you get penalized.
Yeah.
You get money. Let's say you get $1,000, you probably not get nothing because that's the penalty. And then if you don't get it for this year, you get like $1,000. But if you don't get it for the next year, then you get like $2,000 taken off. So you're kind of going into it. That's the sucky thing part about it. But then I kind of get the whole idea of people wanting to aiming to be healthy or whatever and so forth. And then again, I don't hear now, but I definitely used to hear that before when people say, "Oh, Americans are just fat." Americans fat, fat.
It's funny how we're okay with mandatory car insurance, but when it comes to our health and our body, it's an issue and a problem.
That was my next question. Ben Carson said that health care is not a right. Do you agree with it? Because I feel as though
he said it's not a right.
Yeah, it's not a right granted to us by the Constitution. So I'm thinking Canada made it so that they have a united healthcare. Everybody has to have healthcare in Canada. And I want to know, why can't that policy be adopted here? Is it because healthcare is not, in fact, not a right? Are we not guaranteed to have healthcare?
I think that's what I think that's what it's all about. I think you really hit it on the head pretty much. And that it's no, but it's also whether if it's a right or not, it should be the person's initiative.
Yeah.
It should be. And then again, it's everybody's body is different when it comes to that. I mean, to me, and at this point, I don't care about healthcare at the moment. I mean, maybe because I'm young and I'm healthy, and so but that issue doesn't really speak to me. At the moment, I mean, so that's something that I kind of don't kind of care for now. Maybe when I get older, and maybe.
That's what people are saying. It's we're young now, so why should we be forced to buy anything? Kenesha, how do you feel about it? Should you be forced to pay for something you don't think that you'll be using?
I really don't, because like you said, we're young. I think probably once you get to a certain age or something, or if you got a pre-existing medical condition, then you should probably get some health care.
That people go to the hospital not only for natural issues in their body, let's say you get hit by a car or you end up with food poisoning from a bad restaurant. You're gonna need to go to the hospital. So it's just like car insurance. You're paying for a rainy day. When it happens and you end up having to use your insurance, you use it. If you don't, then you end up.
Yeah, but don't want me to pay per month. I'd be better off paying out of my pocket.
Yeah.
They want me to pay almost $300 a month. You got time for that?
How about those people that
just for you?
Go ahead, Sean. What did you say, Sean? Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to talk about prescription medications in the United States and how much we rely on that as a healthcare thing. And you got all these people doped up all the time on anxiety and Adderall. Yeah,
that's the biggest thing now.
I want to hear your guys' opinion maybe on that. I want to see what you guys are talking. What you have to say about that.
I feel like when it comes to drugs, it's just masking the pain. It's just a way for you not to acknowledge what it is.
But it's a thing that's more for anxiety. That's not really pain. That's
But there are other natural holistic ways for you to be able to do that. But what that does, it just gives you it makes you dependent on that chemical reaction to a point where your body doesn't naturally produce it, that you need that pill to give you that chemical balance. And you can gain that chemical balance by a proper diet and exercise.
It should be a part of healthcare.
Huh?
No, that should be all
what should be a part of healthcare? I didn't hear you.
Think about Adderall and all those.
Adderall,
should that be part of healthcare?
Yeah.
As in like mandatory for the government to pay for it?
I know a lot of people who use it. But some use it because they need it because they have ADHD, ADD, and some people who use it because they need it to concentrate. So I don't know. Like if it helps you, it helps you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like as long as it doesn't have any like long-lasting body issues, like let's say like cigarettes. Like if you smoke cigarettes, you know, if you smoke it after a while, like you may end up getting cancer or you may like die. So I feel like with prescription drugs, there needs to be like some type of like regulation as to the ingredients that they're using for it and tell us what they're putting in it. Because a lot of times they don't tell us what's in it; they just give us the name for it.
Right.
What do you think, Wes? We were talking mainly about, you know, we started a conversation with health care being private or public. What's your take on it? And then Sean, you know, eventually asked with that question about Adderall and so forth. But what's your take on healthcare, whether it should be public or private?
It should definitely be private because, again, the goal here is to limit the government to defense and market regulation. We don't need the government patrolling our healthcare. We don't need the government in our schools. We don't need any of that. We just need them to protect us and control the markets to make sure no one is taking advantage of no one else. And as far as these, go ahead.
Well, like if I feel like if we privatize like healthcare and all of these things, as you mentioned earlier, that could very well rise up the prices to whatever amount they want it to be. There's no government to regulate. Well, this is too expensive. It's inhumane. Kind of.
But that's what I was saying. The government is to regulate the market, not participate in it. And by like everybody explains it, you take out the boundaries, you defunct the lines, you make them compete because nobody's going to drive up the price if nobody's buying it. That'll really drive the price down. Whoever can have the best price, the most affordable price with the best care wins. And Carson explains it the best with his health. It's pretty much a health savings account.
I like his plan. Actually.
Yeah, I like his plan.
I'm telling you, he's the smartest guy on the stage. He's best fit for the job.
But I didn't get to hear anything that Cruz had to say on it, so I can't say whether or not Carson had the best, but he did make plenty of sense.
Let's try to plug back in.
Gave him.
Yeah, that's true. That's not fair at all. But let's try to plug back in to see what issues are they talking about. We can go ahead and join the. You know.
So y'all didn't even see the tax exchange, did you?
To bring peace to Israel and its neighbors generally.
Oh, man.
And I think it serves no purpose to say that you have a good guy and a bad guy. Now, I may not be successful in doing it. It's probably the toughest negotiation anywhere in the world of any kind, okay? But it doesn't help if I start saying, I am very pro-Israel, very pro, more than anybody on this stage. But it doesn't do any good to start demeaning the neighbors, because I would love to do something with regard to negotiating peace, finally, for Israel and for their neighbors. And I can't do that as well as a negotiator. I cannot do that as well if I'm taking big sides. With that being said, I am totally pro-Israel. Senator Cruz.
Well, this is another area on which Donald agrees with Hillary Clinton. I disagree with them both strongly. Both Donald and Hillary Clinton want to be mutual, to use Donald's word, between Israel and the Palestinians. Let me be clear. If I'm president, America will stand unapologetically with the nation of Israel. And the notion of neutrality is based upon the left buying into this moral relativism that is often pitched in the media. Listen, it is not equivalent. When you have terrorists strapping dynamite around their chest, exploding and murdering innocent women and children, they are not equivalent to the IDF officers protecting Israel. And I will not pretend that they are. Just today, Iran announced they're going to pay $7,000 to each suicide bomber. And I would note, missing from Donald's answer was anything he has done in his nearly 70 years of living, defending Israel. I have over and over again led the fight to defend Israel, to fight for Israel. And listen, if you want to know who will stand with Israel, we ought to start with who has stood with Israel when the heat was on.
Mr. Trump. Well, I can only say I've been a big contributor to Israel over the years. I've received many awards from Israel. As I've said before, I have a great relationship with Israel, and I'm going to keep it that way. And if I could bring peace, that would be a fantastic thing. It would be one of my greatest achievements as president.
Governor Kasich, I want you to weigh in.
Well, I mean, if I was in Congress for 18 years and on the defense committee, and then,
You know, after 9/11, the Secretary of Defense called me in to help out with some things, and I've been a supporter of Israel, strong supporter of Israel, longer than anybody on this stage. I didn't give as much money as Donald gave, but I've been standing with the Israelis for a very long time, and frankly, I think the problem we have in foreign policy right now, Wolf, is that we are not certain with who we stand with. Our allies are not sure that the make of us, and our enemies are moving. And what it are moving because they're not sure what we will do. It's very interesting development here within the last 24 hours. We said to the South Koreans that we would give them a high altitude defense system.
Talking about that at this point. Leave it to them to decide that, because that's the Bible times issues, like literally.
None necessarily.
That's World War II issues because those lines were
Are you serious? Palestine took over Israel's territory, and now they don't want to give it back. Israel feels like they deserve.
Kevin, no, it's not like that, Kevin. Those lines were drawn after the war, and that land was given
by the British.
That land was given to them. Those people are probably not even real Jews. They're holding that land hostage. Who knows? The sad part is, there's not even really any kind of resources there to. It's just all a mental thing.
Well, it's like oil and shit like
that. From what I've read, it's basically the Israel's stance on that particular piece of land is that it was given to them by God.
Who?
But they use the Bible.
It's
what are you talking about?
Kevin, if you really want to go there, we were there before anybody. If you really want to go there, we were there first. That's supposed to be our land. They won't tell you that though. And so that's not even a debate for us to argue with. You know what I mean? That has nothing to do with us. That's definitely
I see you, Saif. I know you might have having some.
Israel.
Yeah, I'm really trying to. Can we hear you? Can you hear you, Saif?
History between Palestine and Israel and why it is what it is.
It's definitely going to be biased.
Saif is trying to get in right now. He has to access his camera.
If you have something to say, just try to type it in, and we'll go ahead and discuss it. But I feel like Wes is right. It does go so much further back than like last year, than like 9/11, then like it goes way
back in Hitler. Like if you really want to go, who belongs there? Who was there first?
Wow.
Who really originated that land and cultivated that land and made it what it was? That was us, bro.
It goes way back.
3,000 years ago. 4,000 years ago.
It goes way back, like the front seat of a Cadillac.
Into Egypt, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you really want to go there, but like I said, that has nothing to do with us.
That's with Asia too, but that's another
exactly.
Thing.
Well, I think the biggest conflict now is with this Iran. We're getting a caller. Go ahead, let me.
No, you just put it on speaker.
DINtv. Yes, we can hear you.
Put the mic.
Great. Am I on the website?
Yes, you are.
Yes, sir.
The microphone right on. Everybody on the website can hear you.
Okay, yeah, I heard you guys were talking on the topic of Israel, Palestine.
Yeah. Middle East, yeah. What's your take on it?
Pardon?
What's your take on it?
Yeah, I think it doesn't really make much sense to me why the United States backs Israel time and time again. When Israel is occupying territories, they've imposed some pretty horrific actions on Palestinians in the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. It's really, if you look at it, it's an apartheid state. Right? I mean, even within Israel, Arabs are 20% population in Israel, and they don't even have rights to a lot of, they get discriminated against, and many things are happening. But on that front, I mean, if you look at it, like America gets billions of dollars every single year to the state of Israel, including weaponry and other supplies, and to me, it doesn't make much sense. I mean, Israel's the #1 donor for the U.S. aid when countries that really need it should be the ones getting it, or even the American people.
There's a whole bunch of banks over here. Of course, they're going to keep doing that.
But nobody asks the question, what is Israel get their money from?
They get it from churches in America.
Who knows that? That was Sean?
Big Dad, yeah.
Oh, Sean. Okay, Sean knows.
Yeah, I'm on point. We're good.
Sean knows. I don't want to be saying stuff and just be having people mad.
Say it, Wes. I'm telling you, say it.
Yeah, I love
You'll
what
be
you're
surprised.
saying,
You'll be surprised. A lot of people are into
guys. You guys have a question for what's your name?
Hey, Saf, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
We're actually talking about Israel and Palestine's history and where that conflict comes from, and Israel's stance on what's going on with the Palestinians and their actions towards them.
And where they get their financials from.
Yeah. Do you have any input on that?
Why is that important? Why is that important? Okay, yes. Well, he hung up, but
Star him?
Yeah, just a second. Go ahead. Hi,
Hey.
Saeed.
Hey, how's it going?
So do you have any information, like do you have any perspective of like the Israel and Palestine war? So
Conflict.
Yeah, I'm a little bit
Conflict,
biased. I'm Arab.
Okay.
I'm gonna have a little bit of more bias, but obviously it's crazy what's going on there. I think there's wrong on both sides. But I think if you get to the root of it, I mean, Israel is a pretty modernized state. And I think Israel has a higher ground to set an example and to be the one to give Palestinians their sovereignty. I think that's robbed from them, right? Like if you look at the conditions of Palestinians in Israel and Gaza in the West Bank, it's absolutely horrible what's going on there.
So like just so I have an idea, what is a like? Do you have family that lives there right now, or do you know like what's a typical day for them over there? I know.
Yeah, fortunately, my family lives in Israel, so Israel is much safer. There is discrimination that happens to Arabs in Israel, but that's that's just the way things are. But when it comes to the Palestinian territories, it is like you want to go from one city to another, you have to pass through checkpoints, or you get harassed, you have to wait in line for hours, and it's disrupting people's basic lives. I mean, I've heard stories of people trying to go to the hospital and being refused entry, or people trying to visit their families not being able to do that. And that's the West Bank. When we talk about the Gaza Strip, Gaza is basically an open air prison. The Israeli government is intentionally trying to keep the Gaza Strip on the brink of economic collapse, and that's it's absolutely wrong what they're doing.
You get order out of chaos. That's how they keep us. That's how they keep us in this bubble. It's just chaos after chaos, and they try to come up with a solution.
We have a caller that wants wants to voice her opinion in this whole Israel and Middle East and Palestine and Iran. Go ahead,
caller's name?
Hi, everyone.
Hi, what's up?
They all say hello.
Okay, so I'm Jewish, so I have the perspective of like growing up Jewish in the United States. So it's a little bit different from growing up Jewish in Israel. I'm also like I grew up with a lot of understanding and education in like the nature of the conflict in the Middle East, specifically pertaining to Israel and Palestine. The problem is that Palestine and Israel don't want to recognize each other as states, and they don't really want to give each other like the fair amount of land or fair amount of rights and like legal, like all those legal things. So I definitely agree that on both ends there are wrongdoing, such as pretty much the Gaza Strip being kind of an apartheid, and then by that happening, it's leading to a lot of Palestinians being very angry and like uprising. And I believe to some degree, rightfully so, but to another degree, I think that there are most definitely other ways that we can go about.
Do you think Israel is the bigger transgressor than Palestine?
Can you hear Kevin for your computer?
No.
No.
Ask her.
What is it? What is it, Kevin?
I asked, do you think that Israel is a bigger transgressor in the issue than Palestine?
The question is like Kevin, do you think Israel is
because that's what I hear. I hear Israel is the bigger bad guy.
Oh, Kevin says that the only thing that the biggest thing that he hears is that Israel is the bigger bad guy and the bigger instigator. What's your take on that?
Well, if you look geographically, you can see that in terms of land in general in the Middle East, not just with Israel. Israel is definitely the smallest country there. There's like at least out of the surrounding countries like Iran, Syria, Lebanon, and Jordan. Israel is definitely the smallest. So they were kind of granted the smallest amount of land. But if you're looking at the picture between Palestine, which is the Gaza Strip, and Israel, well, Israel is definitely the bigger person there. Like they're not the bigger person; they're like the bigger mass of land. So also, I think like Palestine wouldn't necessarily be there if Israel wasn't keeping them there. So I also do agree that Israel is like kind of trying to act aggressively, but at the same time trying to keep Gaza there. So it's kind of like they want them there, but they don't really want them there.
Trying to act aggressively, aren't they already aggressively acting at this point? Like shooting rockets at like civilians and trying
let me go ahead and open a discussion to the panel. I don't know if anybody on DINtv wants to say something about this. And
I don't want to say anything. Not a thing.
Think about this. Think about this. It look real crazy.
Has nothing to do.
It look real crazy.
Go ahead. Go. Listen, we go to you.
It looks real crazy when you have a small population of white people in the middle of the desert with a bunch of Arabs around them. It looks real crazy. Like I understand her biases and I understand what she's getting at. You got to really listen to them people when they talk because they be really talking under their tongue. Want you to hear, but it's a lot of snake talk. And so, because like I said, those lines were drawn back during World War II, and that land was given to them for some odd reason, and for whatever like I said, they have no industry. They
and they want it back, right? Israel much wants it back, but Palestine doesn't want to give it to them.
Bro, listen, Iran wants to blow them off of the map. They don't care if nobody can live there. They just want to blow them off the map.
Yeah, it's just a hatred more than anything.
Looking into why?
Go ahead, say. Do you have something to say?
Yeah, I was just gonna say like Gaza is not just an apartheid. Gaza is an open air prison. I mean, if you call it the West Bank is an apartheid. Gaza is literally an open air prison. It's absolutely disgusting what's happening there. And with that being said, I mean, it's like we give financial aid. The United States gives financial aid every single year to Israel, and they're using that to kill innocent people on a regular basis. If you look at maybe he would have worked 20 years ago, but in 2016, people are posting videos. There's stuff I've seen like on YouTube that are just absolutely disgusting on what's going on. And I think Israel has to allow Palestinians to have a sovereign state. And that is, there's not going to be, without justice, there's no peace. And that's the bottom line. If you're going to deprive people from having land and being able to travel and being able to provide, resources and jobs, then of course they're going to resist and they're going to fight. I'm not saying the fighting is a good thing. It's obviously a terrible thing what's happening, but what do you expect? And just to me, it seems like Israel does not want peace. Israel is intentionally provoking Palestinians and in order to justify taking more and more land and justify their occupation, frankly.
Wes, quick question. I don't know if you ever heard this through the grapevine or anything when it comes to Israel, but I've heard through the grapevine sometimes where like the Jews that are in Israel right now aren't like real. I don't know if I'm being politically correct or not, so please don't like jump on me if I'm being insensitive.
Because
what I've heard is that they're not like the real Jews, like they're like descendants of Germans, pretty much. That
they are.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying. Those lines are drawn, and they were getting that land because it looks crazy to have a bunch of white people in the middle of the desert with Arabs. It don't even make sense. Mm-hmm. And like I say, if you really look into the history of it, it's not even about because there's a difference in Jews and Hebrews and all this, that, and the third, but it's all religion based. If you look at the original, like I say, we came through there first. Yeah. We were the first ones to come through there. A lot of us came out of Asia through there and went into Egypt.
When you say we, who do you refer to we?
We blacks, melanin.
Yeah, black people, bro.
Okay.
This has been proven over and over and over again. And honestly, if you read the story of the Bible, it explains exactly where we came from.
Which Bible?
That's irrelevant today.
Which Bible?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's completely irrelevant today because honestly, we can't do anything about it. So it's more so
America has the right to. I mean, Israel's there. It has a right to exist. It's not going to change. And I'm not debating. I just think that they just need to allow Palestinians to live and have a sovereign state. That's it. I'm not. Israel has every right to exist as much as any European country.
Now, I think the biggest issue right now and moving forward is this whole Iran nuclear deal. If Barack Obama and the White House and the Obama administration made a deal with Iran saying that you guys can go ahead and have any nuclear advancements in nuclear or research as long as the United States can keep an eye on it. Now, if any of these Republican candidates win, they are saying that they would cut the deal. That's a bad deal. Is the worst thing that can happen. Wouldn't that be worse if the United States just cut ties with Iran, saying like, that deal was BS. We don't like it. We don't want it. Forget you. Doesn't that throws more fuel to the fire with Iran and people who are just think very crazy about America? They want to eliminate America.
And after this, we have to get back to the debate because we're forgetting that it's still going on.
I
think we should just back out on.
I think Iran, I think there's this this view that's being portrayed by the media that, Israel's against Iran and America hates Iran. But if you look what's going on in the Middle East right now, Iran is actually contributing to the war against ISIS, and they're contributing to supporting Bashar al-Assad, who is who's murdering a lot of innocent people. So Iran is strategically a benefit for America, and I think there has to be a deal with Iran. Like there has to be.
I think ISIS is literally like a secret ops group from America. Honestly,
me too.
Elaborate. How can you say that and not back it up with any kind of thing? How does that? How you came to that conclusion, Sean?
My awakened people know what I'm talking about.
I want to hear Sean. Go ahead. I want to hear Sean.
No. Okay. All right. Now you guys are putting me on the spot.
Yes, you agree with Kevin. That's the problem.
To say something.
That's the problem when you agree with Kevin.
You can hear it through the grapevine. Like I don't know. I watch.
Where's the grapevine extended from?
I mean, there's an info war going on, and there's a lot of people in America that are really paying attention right now.
Yep.
Talk to the military. Talk to the military.
They're the big ones too, because they tell you how it is for real. A lot of them come back fucked up in the head.
Why has America refused to intervene in Syria?
I had no clue.
What do you mean?
Why do you guys think the United States has failed to intervene in Syria?
Because they've actually created the monster that they're trying to intervene.
What do you mean? What do you mean intervene in Syria? What do you mean that regard in particular? In the sense of like take over
the entire
country?
I mean, yeah, basically dismantle Bashar al-Assad like they did to Gaddafi just a year or two before the revolution began.
Well, now you really can't do that because that's backed up by Russia. So if you go ahead and do that, if you go ahead and do that, then you're really starting something else with the Russians. Russians want to stay there, so
Russia is there for the oil.
Whatever. It's a strategic point. It's a strategic thing. They there because they want to be there.
Whatever. I guarantee you, if we were to go in there and we were to get rid of that, Russia would leave very quickly.
What you mean?
Very, very quickly. Nobody wants to go to war, especially with the people who drop bombs.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do that.
Well, apparently North Korea wants to do it. Let's go ahead and try to.
Back to the debate, guys. Back to the
people
debate.
want to go into where the corporations who make the most money off.
You have the floor.
I get a response to that.
We stepped into an argument,
I'm telling you, it's going to be Trump crossing to the
I want
house.
to point out something here today that it's so critically important about how the Obama administration has really done such a ridiculous, feckless job here in foreign policy. First of all, we should have been supporting the rebels long ago. They could have taken Assad out, and because we did nothing, the Russians are now in, and they're sitting in the catbird seat. We should have been helping them. I'm thankful that the aid trucks are finally getting into Syria, but the fact is, had we had acted, we would have solved that problem. Now let's talk about Libya. Libya didn't go down because it was some people revolution. Hillary Clinton, Samantha Power, and all these other people convinced the president to undermine Gaddafi. They undermined him, and now they have created a cesspool in Libya. And let me just say to you, we have ISIS beginning to get a foothold in Libya. We're going to have to deal with it. There are not many major cities in Libya. They're on the coast, which mostly it's desert, but it's a problem. Then we have ISIS in Syria, and we have ISIS in Iraq. Because this administration has not had a strong and firm foreign policy, we are going to inherit. One of us here is going to inherit a total mess, and we're going to have to work our way out of it, including the need to arm the Ukrainians. They have been ignored, and we need to help them as well and assert ourselves as America.
Let's continue the questioning on ISIS. Maria.
Hold on, Wolf. You said I got to respond.
You'll have a chance.
Hold on. You called me a liar. You're saying I can't respond to being called a liar?
Go ahead and respond.
Yes, Chad.
Yeah, what we're seeing is actually the pattern of Washington, the pattern of Washington deal makers, which is they make promises, they break their words, and then when anyone calls them on it, they call you a liar. And so that's Donald's pattern over and over again. He said, for example, 7 months ago, this is Donald speaking, quote, I, Donald Trump, was a member of the establishment. There's a reason Harry Reid thinks he's the best Republican up here. There's a reason Jimmy Carter said he would support Donald Trump over me, because he said Donald Trump is malleable. He has no fixed set of beliefs, whereas Ted Cruz is not malleable. And every time anyone points to Donald's actual record, what he said on national television, Donald yells liar. Let me tell you something. Falsely accusing someone of lying is itself a lie, and it's something Donald does daily.
Go ahead, Mr. Trump. I watch.
Donald says the only reason these people are clapping is because they're all Ted Cruz's donors in the audience.
The lobbyists. I watch what this man did to Dr. Ben Carson, who I respect, in Iowa, where he said that Ben Carson is out of the race. He has left Iowa, and he's out of the race. And I thought it was disgraceful. And got a lot of votes because of that. A lot of votes took him away from Ben Carson. I watched that. Probably took him away from me too. But I watched it. I also watched where he did a form that looked like it came right out of a government agency. And it said on top, voter violation. And then it graded you. And it scared the hell out of people. And it said the only way you clear up the violation essentially is to go and vote for Ted Cruz. I watched that fraudulent document, and I said it's the worst thing I've ever seen in politics. To me, that was even worse than what he did to Ben.
Senator Cruz.
I know politicians, believe it or not, better than you do, and it's not good.
Oh, I believe it. No, I believe you know politicians much better than I do, because for 40 years you've been funding liberal Democratic politicians. And by the way,
I funded you.
The reason
you're welcome to have a check.
Let's get it clear. Yeah, you gave me $5,000. And by the way, let's be clear. Donald claims to be
why I did
about
what
you.
he said to me. Donald,
I understand. Okay,
thank you for the book. Donald, thank you for the book. Go ahead.
Donald, you can get back.
There's a lot of fun up here tonight, I have to tell you. Thank you for the book.
Donald, relax.
Go ahead. I'm relaxed. You're the master case. Go ahead. Go ahead.
My name is nothing about you. What makes anyone nervous?
You lose people so badly. I want to watch that.
Gentlemen.
I'm going to ask that my time not be control. Okay, now.
The latest debate.
He doesn't get to yell. The whole time. Do I not get a response? Do I not get a response?
Response, so stand by. My name was. I want to talk about ISIS right now.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
How best to keep Americans safe from ISIS? There's a huge battle underway right now between the tech giant Apple and the federal government. The federal government wants Apple to unlock the phone used by that San Bernardino terrorist to prevent future attacks. Apple has refused, saying it would compromise the security of all of its customers. And just this afternoon, they went to court to block the judge's order. Dana Bash, pick up the questioning.
Senator Rubio, you say it's complicated and that, quote, Apple isn't necessarily wrong to refuse the court order. Why shouldn't investigators have everything at their disposal?
No, in fact, what I have said is that the only thing, the FBI made this very clear 48 hours ago, the only thing they are asking of Apple is that Apple allow them to use their own systems in the FBI to try to guess the password of the San Bernardino killer. Apple initially came out saying they're being ordered to create a backdoor to an encryption device. That is not accurate. The only thing they're being asked to do, and the FBI made this very clear about 48 hours ago, is allow us to disable the self-destruct mode that's in the Apple phone so that we can try to guess using our own systems what the password of this killer was. And I think they should comply with that. That's all they're asking for. They are not asking for Apple to create a backdoor to encryption.
So just to be clear, you did say a couple of weeks ago, this is a complicated issue. Apple is not necessarily wrong here.
Because at the time, Apple was portraying that the court order was to create a backdoor to encryption.
If you are president, would you instruct your Justice Department to force Apple to comply or not?
To comply with the order that says that they have to allow the FBI the opportunity to try to guess the password?
Correct.
Absolutely. That Apple phone didn't even belong.
What's happening?
Okay, well, in that note, go ahead, Sean. You seem to be very passionate about this.
Okay, so I'm a front-end web developer, right, here in California, right? We are all Apple users, okay? So first off, I've gotten a lot of Apple opinions on this.
Okay.
This has nothing to do with targeting computers. What they're doing is targeting Apple because Apple has the best encryption in the game.
And they can get into our phones.
They can't get into it. So what they're doing is they're trying to take over Apple's encryption. So they actually have a back door to get into everybody's phone.
Sean, can I add something to that?
Just go ahead, go, dude, go. That's my point. Go.
Remember when that whole San Fernando shooting thing happened?
San Bernardino,
whatever. That happened. How people were saying, well, things weren't adding up. Like, where are the shootings? Like, what's happening? And then we have this push for the government to try to allow a backdoor for Apple to allow our encryption to be like decoded so they can read all our stuff. I just think that whole situation was just a false flag just to push this agenda right now, because once you allow the government to enter your phone, Apple phones at least, which is like pretty much the majority of the population has an Apple phone or an iPhone of some sort. They can
crack all the other ones. That's why they aren't making a big deal.
And you know what? I think I'm standing by Apple. Apple would be doing the worst thing if they did that, because they would probably use a lot of the
stand by Apple as well.
Apple is pretty much like, I don't know. It's
like its own country.
Yeah, you know, you have your segments of like, you have your web developers like Sean who like look into all this stuff when it comes to the internet censorship, and like sends out all that info to people so that they know what the government's trying to do. Because this is just a push for them to try to censor the internet in a sense, because they've been trying to do it for the past 6 years, and every time a bill comes up, we like rally and we stop it from being passed. This past year, the internet could have been censored 3 different times. The general population doesn't even know this. You know?
Because the internet stood up and fought up against it with like
when you go on Tumblr and you go onto all these different sites, and anytime anything just happens, they always go into it, and they always like keep us.
May I just bring up something?
Go ahead,
okay, we all know that iPhone are assembled in China. So they successfully produce iPhone just despite Apple. They just copy and paste the same iPhone, calling them other names, and sell in China. So do you think those iPhones don't have any encryption? Like Chinese don't have the keys already?
They build the hardware. They don't build the software.
Apple's gonna end up in China anyway.
I think it's easier to hack an Apple device than you might imagine. But I'm talking about
Chinese hackers already have all these things.
Yeah, I think
Chinese hackers backed by Chinese government.
A lot of people use third-party applications like Facebook, WhatsApp, and etc. And those have already been compromised, to my knowledge.
Yeah, backdoor Trojans that you're allowed that enter your phone. Those updates.
Just picture this scenario: if the government didn't send like an order for Apple to go ahead and unlock the phone. If the government would have done it by itself, I'm pretty sure half of this panel would be like, "Oh my God, the government's so annoying. Why do they do that? Why do they don't even ask for permission?" So I feel like it's a bit hypocritical in the whole sense. What you mean now? I'm pretty sure that if the government would have just go in and unlock the phone, which I know they have the capabilities, I'm pretty sure you'd be upset about
going
that.
through the right channels. Would you prefer them to ask and have Apple do it, or for them to go behind your back and just have Apple?
Give me 1 second, Sean. I want to finish your answer.
Apple's going to be aware anybody who's trying to infiltrate their iOS. Like, they're going to know the moment the government tries to enter that database. So if that were to be done, like one of those server guys or one of those IT guys are going to leak it online with documentation proving what they're saying, that the government was trying to hack into Apple phones, and that's a PR mess for America. So
the question is, would you be upset if the government will go without even asking and get to the phone? It's a yes or no question.
If I went into your house, borrowed your jacket,
they're gonna be upset either way.
Wait, so if Sean wanted to say something.
Okay, so all right, I have this one thought, and maybe I might be completely out of my head when I say this, but it's the FBI, right? Trying to get the encryption. It's not the NSA.
Oh, okay, that's a different.
The NSA, yes, the NSA is a private entity right now. Not even really connected to the government, to be honest.
Dude, Sean, I am going to be hosting a show that covers all this stuff. I get where you're going.
Am I close? Am I close to where this topic is?
We're really close, actually.
I'm doing wait, so if you wanted to say something. Wait, say if you wanted to say something, go ahead.
Yeah, he was. Well, I was basically going to say what Sean said. I was just going to say, like, yeah, it's really the NSA already has access to all this data, and the FBI needs to get a backdoor to Apple to get that data.
Thanks to guys like Edward Snowden who tell us these things. You know, like these are real heroes.
He's all about these whistleblowers.
Hell yeah, because if it weren't for him, we wouldn't even know this shit was happening. Like, are you serious? Like, even
what's strange to me about Snowden is there's been so many other whistleblowers before Snowden.
Oh, there have been too. He's been compromised. So I've heard Snowden's been compromised right now, so he's like been bought out.
Go ahead, Wes. You wanted to make a point.
By journalism.
No, I think this is just Apple's cool way of saying we're going to China, because I'm telling you, we're going to start losing a lot of companies here.
You talking about because of the economy, or because of the president? What it might be? Okay, because of the economy.
I think it's all a show, and it's just Apple's nice way of saying we're going to China.
Yeah,
it is a sensitive subject, and people will be upset either way. And now, if Apple is so secure and so like, oh my God, don't tap into a phone. Tell me, can you just explain me how in the hell somebody got into many actresses on iCloud and get all those pictures and put them online and everything?
Yeah, iCloud is different server.
It's different.
But still, it's still part of Apple. If they're so legit, so creme de la creme.
No.
That's how I see it.
We speaking on different levels. We're speaking on different levels.
How so? Because one is the cloud and one is the phone
on a
itself.
different server. It's easier to crack different stuff than it is on just the server.
It still has flaws in it, though. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Well, it's not like they bought a network crew to make sure that their network was secure. Mm-hmm. What they didn't do was look at the best encryption is on the phone,
it's
not
like
on the
saying
network.
hacking into an Instagram account. That's pretty much what iCloud to me when you say iCloud. Because it's like you just have to try to guess the person's email and the password. That's what it is.
Exactly.
But you can brute force those in like a couple hours.
What the FBI is asking for are the encryption keys.
That's sensitive stuff, man.
Yeah, you can. I mean, that's. I mean, what if China or Russia has the same information, and that data can be used against.
Well, it's everyone's data. It's not just one person's data. It's the bulk data. Mm-hmm. Everyone in the entire country, another hacker across the United States. Now it's out in the world. Like everybody's got it, not just the United States.
It's gotta be
in mind.
Somebody in Meerkat, it's gotta be Junior said that the cloud is weak. I guess it speaks to what you guys, were saying, that it's different and it's easier to get access to.
Yeah, it is.
That as a whole.
Bitcoin for the win.
Yeah, so I guess most of the panel agrees that Apple should stand behind, what they think. They're not break and not, give that.
You didn't even hear your Bitcoin, bro. You have a Bitcoin fellow here too.
Oh, Bitcoins? Oh, we can talk. We talk about that after 11.
I just wanted to let you guys know that we got right in on this, and then we didn't even hear what the Republicans said about it.
Fuck the Republicans.
Apparently, Ben Carson was all for letting Apple's encryption be open to the FBI.
Somebody the same person on Meerkat, it's gotta be Junior said, let John McAfee do it. Why not?
Is like
that's the guy who created like the antivirus thing. And he's actually running for president. I don't know if you guys know about that.
That's a lie.
He's running for president for the United States. What you mean?
You lie.
Actually, it's a trial on my computer.
He has like his own party.
Supposed to run or something, or Bloomberg was thinking of running.
Would you like me to give the government a key to the back door of your house?
Exactly. This is
So with that said, do you guys have any ideas how can the government or any of us find out how the shooter got the connections and so forth? How can we tap into him and his connections?
I feel like that kind of
use your basic genius. Like what was crime before iPhones?
The government needs to go through the court system.
Well, that's what the government's doing.
One of those shooters was posting pro-ISIS stuff on Facebook.
Right.
It's very hard to identify an individual person that's doing stuff like that.
This is a crossfire attack that was used to push this agenda. Because if they were to let this open, this would open up Pandora's box, and we don't even know what would happen after this. Because, I mean,
it's like telling people there's UFOs. You can't just do that. People just freak out. They're like, "Oh my god!
Oh my god, Sean!
People wouldn't believe it nowadays.
We're talking about it's not even I feel like when I talk about politics, honestly, in my heart, it's like a smaller
question for you.
For me,
I'm more keep on your phone. That y'all scared to let anybody know it doesn't matter.
All my beans. I keep all my beans on my phone.
All the nudes.
Think about this. Like
on my lyrics, on my rap songs on.
These government officials. Let's say they have an issue with somebody. Okay, let me call up FBI. You guys, Kevin's really getting on my nerves. Let's pull up his internet footprint. Let's see what type of things that we can get off of him. Oh, all right then. So he's into that stuff. All right, so let's set him up on something like this and stuff like that. That's how they work. Look at Scientology. Shit, they were doing this before the FBI was asking for this stuff, and they would set up dossiers for all of their members, and anytime they would fuck up, they would bring up that information right up. So who's gonna stop the government from doing that? They do it already.
Damn. History right there.
The same user on Meerkat. It's gotta be. Junior said that the government should pay some hackers to do it and call up John Travolta.
They can't because all of them get too high all the time. They can't hire them because they're all stoned out of their minds and they're UAing them.
Well, how about
stop UAing hackers because hackers are smoking pot and they can't get a job. They can't.
How about these hackers who are already arrested and they work for the government kind of thing? So
hackers government and companies are like celebrities. Like you can't ruffle their feathers too much. If you do, your shit's gonna hit the fan because they mobilize really quick. Really, really quick.
Yeah, I mean, like within 5 to 6 minutes, they can have everybody in the world with their files. It's like
DINtv bothering me. Let's send a DOS attack on them and just override their servers right now. They can do that in literally 2 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, don't do that. I'm just saying using that as an example.
We're gonna get back to the thing, guys.
Yeah, go ahead. Plug in the debate.
It's not us.
Oh, I think they're giving more like ending speeches.
The last USA Today poll had me beating Hillary Clinton by 11 points, more than anybody on this stage. Secondly, I hope you saw tonight that executive experience really matters. It matters in terms of growing our economy, balancing budgets, cutting taxes, reforming regulations. I've done it in Washington. I've done it in Ohio, and I can go back to Washington and do it again. But I hope you also notice tonight that I do have the foreign policy experience, not just a few years, but a lot of years, and working with some of the great minds in this country to develop the expertise, the confidence, the firmness, the toughness, and the ability to bring people together. I hope you all think about giving me your vote. I would appreciate it very much, and I tell you, we won't have to spend time figuring out what we're going to do. I will hit the ground running, and we will get America moving again. Thank you all very much.
It looks like they're doing closing statements right now.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
What you got?
I'm about to let y'all continue with y'all conspiracy theories and the Apple talk.
You guys are not surprised, all right, I'm gonna start posting videos on here about that stuff because honestly, no, it's serious. When you think about it, the government really.
Well, thank you for having us tonight. This campaign's come a long way. It was just a few months ago, there were 15 or 11 of us on the stage, and now it's narrowed, and the votes are starting to count. And we have an incredible decision to make. Not just about the direction of America, but the identity of our party and of the
Why does it always freeze when it gets to your guy?
Because it's the truth.
No, because
it's really making it happen. Well, I wanna quickly plug in this video about the FBI versus Apple. It's a short video about what's really happening in this fight. For the people that don't really know, you get watch this video and get caught up with what's up.
So a California court ruled that Apple needs to have the FBI break the phone of one of the San Bernardino
shooters. Like a little crazy girl who went crazy on the Uber driver.
Ooh, guys, we have a lot of people watching us outside the site.
Okay, well, here's how the FBI puts it.
Trump said, "I'm a chump."
To the phone of a known terrorist to get valuable information. Yeah, but here's the thing. It's not like Apple knows password. An iPhone 15 password is entered at times. Is to actually create new software for the FBI to get an unlimited number of investigators for the terrorists have already made the case that they need access.
Yeah, it's him. No, it's not.
Yeah, so that's pretty much all. We can't really go into the closing statements of the debate. But I just want to ask the panel, what do you guys, we're gonna keep the conversation about Apple and FBI, but since because of the debate, it's done more or less. What are your thoughts on the debate? What do you take from it?
I feel like I still don't know anything about Social Security. They say they want to make sure it's still around for let me make sure somebody's
Can you guys try to figure out who that is?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. I don't know who it is.
Just study people and seeing who it is. Put up. Okay, it's gone.
Okay, it's gone.
Okay.
I still don't know anything about the Social Security aspect that I wanted to hear about. I know they want to keep it for the elderly, but I still want it to be around for when I get to be in the retirement age. So I would like them to address that. What'd you say, Wes?
You don't want that.
Why I don't want that? Why?
You don't want that. It's not enough. What you want is you want to let them know that they're going to teach people to take care of themselves financially so that there will be no need for Social Security. That's what it's going to happen anyway, because it's going to be going in the next 3-4 years anyway. So, I mean, we might as well stop trying to depend on the government. Like I said, the job of the government is not to take care of us. It's not to provide for us. It's to protect us and regulate the markets to keep anyone from cheating, getting over on the other people. Everything else is up to us.
But I would at least like to hear what they have to say.
I'm telling you, it's going to be gone. They're not going to answer the question because it's going to be gone in the first 100 days.
Okay.
Because the big issue with Social Security is that it's like people who are not even putting into the bucket are taking out of it. So it's just like eating it.
And it's still bankrupt. And it's bankrupt. This shit is running a deficit in and of itself.
I feel like the people here are more intelligent than the people that are running for president.
Hey, that's a big compliment to all of us.
Yes.
What do you think, Kevin? What do you think about the debate as a whole?
If I had to choose a winner tonight, I definitely would say Rubio.
Yes.
But he really shined this debate.
He did shine.
I feel like I now see him as a man type of like he can keep up now because he kind of shut down Trump a couple times while he was talking. So
that's the only thing
that's the only thing. But in regards to policies, like I heard a lot of good stuff from Carson that really surprised me. When it comes to his idea about
Carson to make sense,
with healthcare and that kind of stuff. Trump, just the same old rubric: huge, big, win, it's massive, big. Massive, big. That's all I heard.
Huge.
Basically, and Cruz is dying out for me. I think Rubio is going to take Cruz's spot soon.
Don't say that.
Muslims coming across the border. Yeah, just basically, I don't know. Cruz to me just seems like a hall monitor. Like every time I look at him, that dude in the elementary school that used to tell on you like for no reason. You know. So that's
what's the name of the little kid in the cartoon Recess?
Recess.
Randall.
We're moving on.
What do you think, Sean? What can you make of the debate? The little that you saw.
I'm sorry. I just got in here, so sorry. Who do you think won? Is that
I'm asking everybody what do you think about the debate. Who you think is the winner? What are your thoughts?
I just feel like the people are the winner. People got to turn out, man. They just got to turn out and do the right thing. Vote for the person they truly believe in, because this is not the America that I wanted to grow up in.
Yeah.
So Sean, maybe we need Trump to be in office so that we jump up and get off our asses. I feel like our generation talks a lot. We know a lot and we talk a lot, but we don't do a lot.
Yeah.
I think maybe Trump needs to go into office for us to do something and be like, oh shit, this shit's for real now. This is not like a Twitter rant. This is like American life right now. You know?
Okay, so what I'd have to say to that is basically what you're saying is if he comes into office and shit gets worse than it was with Bush, then people would finally revolt.
I don't even think they'll wait till then. I think the moment they find out he won, it's just gonna be all chaos.
Yeah, everybody says they're moving to Canada.
Yeah.
What do you?
I go to Mexico. You know?
Oh, the wall is gonna be built, and you're not gonna be able to get back over here.
What do you think, Saeed? What do you make of the whole debate?
Man, honestly, I watch it for entertainment. It's really funny.
This is not affecting you.
Yeah, it's not affecting Saeed.
I'm lucky.
I watch like pictures because it's like, is this really happening on national TV? Are these people that are running?
Yeah. It's like, this is one of these people are going to be the future president of the United States, and
they're all idiots. Yes.
Hey! There's a whole Democratic side. Don't say one of these people.
I don't know. There's a lot of Democrats that are idiots too. So I'm not really.
They don't make their own opinion.
What do you think, Kenisha? What do you think of the debate as a whole?
You know, the thing is, America is run by lawyers, right?
Wait, America is run by lawyers?
If you want to really get deep into it, America's run by Israel.
Yeah, all these guys are lawyers. Like all these politicians either are lawyers. If you go to a country like China, their politicians are engineers or doctors. Like, you know, lawyers are there to bend the rules and to, you know, to like, they're not, it's not a, I don't want to say productive member of society, but they're ticks. They're blood-sucking creatures.
Oh,
that's what politicians do. It's like a smokescreen.
Talking
corporation, really good work that run this country, that run America and almost the entire world, right? Like, like at the end of the day, money is better than a vote. Like when you go to vote, you say, hey, I'm going to choose a leader. But when you buy stuff, like you still use a US dollar, right? And that's what gives banks and, you know, like these elites power is currency, money. The creation of money is like, think about it, like it's everything, right?
Yeah.
And that's the root, that's the problem. It's these people control, this entity controls how we operate, like how we buy stuff, corporations and all this kind of stuff that's controlling our lives.
They don't just control the United States, then they're now controlling everybody.
Literally. And it's the same people. The same people running America, it's the same people running England, the same people running all these different countries.
It's not true.
Same people.
Yeah, it's pretty true.
No, I think that's true. I just think like rich, it's like families. If you're a billionaire, like who else do you?
The Nathaniels, that's what they are.
The Rothschilds and the Rockefellers.
I want to know what Kenisha has to say about the debate. What are your thoughts as a whole?
I still think Trump was sent to be a parody, and I'm just waiting on him to just.
I said that earlier.
I'm just waiting on him to just be like, "This is all a joke. Y'all can continue trying."
So it is not a joke, girl, because Trump represents a majority of whites who don't speak out what they want to really say because they're scared of what people are going to say about them, and that's a lot of people in America who feel the same way about how Trump feels.
Why do you think guns is such a big deal right now? Everyone's collecting guns because they're scared as fuck. Everybody is just gun collecting because they're like, oh my god, what is going to happen?
They're preparing. I'm telling you. They're preparing.
And speaking of guns, Wes said he was going to get a whole bunch. Wes, what did you think about the debate?
Here's the good thing. Here's the positive. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead,
Wes.
I just want y'all to go back and look at that debate because you really got it's more than just who made the best quotes of the night. You really gotta look at people's posture, not only when they're attacking somebody, but when they have to back it up. And I'm guaranteeing everybody this: everybody there lost votes except Trump because he is the only one who stood on his ground and had no reason to attack anyone because he was winning. He is winning, and he's always going to win this. And especially if you look at Cruz, he made himself look so pathetic, so just soft and sorry, like he was trying to get Donald Trump to admit something, and Donald would say, "Okay, I will admit to it. Here you go. Are you happy now?" And so, like I said, everybody in that debate just lost. It was everybody did, even Trump did, because I'm gonna tell you why Trump lost. Because Trump could have lost that debate if they didn't attack him. By them attacking him, it allowed him to elaborate on his plans, and that's all people wanted to hear.
So you think he won?
Everybody's big thing. We haven't heard anything from Donald. There's no question about it.
I think the Republicans lost.
Bigly.
You wanted to say something, Saif?
I think Saif is frozen right
It's
now.
frozen.
Carlos, you joined us towards the end. I know you were watching. What did you think?
Oh my God.
I can't hear you. Is he muted?
Check your mic.
No, he's
Check your
not
mic.
muted. It's just, I don't know what's up.
Oh, his
He
mic
always
is
has
gone.
issues
Well,
with-
tell us who you think won in the feed. I guess in the DIN feed. Tell us.
Type it in.
Well, unplug your mic and see if you can hear us and talk freely without it.
You guys hear me?
Still not. Still nothing. Still nothing.
No, got nothing.
How about you, Kirill? Do you have any thoughts? Anything you want to throw in terms of the debate or anything? I don't know if you're hearing us.
Kirill is in his own world.
No.
Oh, okay.
I entirely agree with Wes
Okay.
that these guys, Rubio, Cruz, they were involved. Maybe they did it deliberately. I mean, they voluntarily agreed to play this game because you need to be just nuts if you believe that you're going to be a president.
Yeah.
So they play this game.
Yeah.
Why? What is their motivation?
I mean, it could be strategy for like public.
Some reward.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
It would be money. It would be some position or something. So because Trump is obvious winner of this debate.
Yeah.
And this is, I don't know, it's not good because we don't have better choices.
Yeah.
I don't believe in America at all, honestly. I really don't. At this point, I just need a restructuring of the whole universe. At this point, just like
The whole universe.
let's just like get rid of the whole government in itself and let the people decide what they want to do. Like I kind of agree with Wes in a sense that he brought up a really good point.
Guys, I agree that election system, electoral college is a little bit broken. It's functioning not
definitely broken
properly because
that's why we still have Democrats and Republicans only in debates. We don't have any other people that are debating that are not Republican or Democrat. It's because of these systems that are set up to pick out. We're literally picking out the best of what the Republican and Democrats feel are the best. So either way, they win, regardless on who we pick, because we're just picking their choices.
Well, there are so many other candidates with all many different parties. The fact that you probably don't know about them, that's whose fault is that?
The thing is that the rules that are set up for these electoral, they're not able to. They don't have the money and they don't have the votes to be able to go into these debates. That's what it is. It's not that they're not allowed to run. They're running, but the rules that are set up bar them from even being able to get their voice out there and debate. So that's why we only see Republicans and Democrats debating, because that's how the system's rigged.
So it's like, would you see a Tea Party debate?
Why not? I don't go by Democrat, Republican. I want to hear your stance. I want to hear
and how you're gonna help the country.
That's the thing. People need to take this Democrat Republican team thing out of it and just listen to these people, like Wes says. Listen to what they have to say. And
well, if it was Cruz and Rubio's intent to argue with Trump, I think this will help them actually, because everybody's going to be talking about how they were talking over each other, and then you're going to have to listen to what was being said. Of course, it's going to spotlight all the things that Trump was actually saying about the questions that were being asked, and of course, it's going to make them look like they were just bickering because they weren't making any points. But at least they were seen. We're not talking about Kasich and Carson. We said one thing about Carson, which was that he made some points about healthcare, but we're not talking about them. So if it was their tactic, then it was a good one.
I get you. Now, just take into consideration that this is the last debate before Super Tuesday, before this Tuesday coming up, where I think it's 12 states going to voting, and that's more than 200 delegates being thrown out there. The next Republican debate will be March 3rd in Detroit. And the next Democratic debate will be March 6th on Flint, Michigan. This is all after.
Oh my gosh, Flint is going to be a really good one. I feel like.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy.
I hope they touch on minorities. I hope they touch on all that stuff.
They have no choice when they get to Flint because if the water crisis is going to come up, they're going to have no choice but to touch minorities.
There's no reason we live in the 21st century in freaking America for Flint to be happening right now. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's
First world
disgusting.
problems. Yeah, first world problems.
Like, literally, like this is honestly this is people who really don't give a frig about people to like do what they did just to save $100 a day. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
It's just horrible.
Well, honestly, I don't know all the details into the whole what's happening in Flint. I know that's why they don't have access to clean water.
Yeah.
But something that
years now, years.
But something to take into consideration: clean water costs money.
Okay.
That's I don't know if
So
whatever.
that's cancer.
The what?
And funerals, which a lot of the Flint residents are going to have to deal with in the coming years.
Wow.
Because those kids are going to grow up.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the like? What do you correlate your money to? A life? To like some therapies that you have to pay extra for? This is what I'm talking about. America doesn't work for the people; they work for the corporations. That's why they decided they wanted to save the $100 a day, and not the people that they were filtering the water out for.
What do you mean saving $100 a day? Elaborate a little more on
It
that.
costs $100 a day for the water to be purified.
For the city for Flint,
Yeah.
pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so for me, it's just like I think either if it's Trump or Bernie, either one of those people, they're gonna go in, and some big changes the biggest changes are gonna come from those two people if they ever were to become.
Those are the big changing people.
And the corporations' influence in the government. It's going to be they're going to try to close out that influence because it's really messing up everything. Because then, what's the sense you have all these corporations making all this money, and then the people that are going to buy their products are dying out? Like, eventually, what? You can't drink oil, can you?
No, I wanted to say something real quick. I know all of us in here probably seen Gasland.
I've seen some of it.
Yeah, before the whole Flint, Michigan thing. Like this has been going on for years. Like, years and years. And I'm not just talking about dirty water. I'm talking about water that catches on fire. Like this is gas-oriented water, and it's because of things like fracking. The oil companies go in, drill deep, then they go out horizontal with the land, and then that causes all the gases to come up and hit the water wells. So these people that have natural water are now screwed as well. So not only are we cutting their water supply, we're cutting their well supply of water, and they have to travel multiple miles to go pick up fresh water. So not only are they're paying more than their water bill, they're actually having to travel to go get gallons and gallons of water. And I don't know about you, but you probably don't want to shower in some of this dirty gas-filled water.
It's gross.
I don't want to catch on fire. I don't know about you, but like seriously, these people are driving miles just so they can take a shower.
That's why you got to count your blessings now.
Yeah.
Because it could be
I have a
always
question
worse.
about that. About this whole thing, 'cause I don't really following it. What has this administration done about it? What has the secretary?
Not much. A lot of the help has been coming from.
So I want everybody to pay attention to that. So when Hillary gets on stage and Bernie gets on stage and they start crooning the black people, the administration has done nothing about it. So remember that.
Wes, I don't think you should diminish Bernie's influence on like minorities when it comes to people of color.
Just because you walk with the struggle don't mean nothing.
People of color. That he has been a strong.
Listen, just because you walk with the struggle don't mean nothing.
I don't
want.
It means a lot.
That's how they. That's how. Listen.
To the government.
That's how he appeases to you. If he was providing education and information to the people, I would say yes. If you want to stand in line just like the rest of them, you deserve to throw around just like the rest. But hey,
do you realize that the reason why you have a choice on when you want to be educated is because people like Bernie who showed the world that segregation is not right.
Bernie ain't do nothing. You giving this man too much credit. You're giving him way too much credit.
I don't know. I'd rather live in his world than I probably would for Trump. That's all I'm saying. Like, I mean, money
You
involved.
want to live in a
That's all.
Huh?
But okay. See, this
I
is
know.
A lot of the issues that I like. Let me just be honest. Bernie covers a lot of the issues that I like. He cares about the people. Like for somebody of I think of it like this: somebody who's of Caucasian descent, to live in a time where associating yourself with someone of color would literally like get you shunned from your family. To go as a person to go and walk with these people and try to change the world and change the way the world views people of color, I think that's a huge step, because those small steps allow me and you to be able to drink at the same water fountain that white people drink at and eat at the same places that they eat at. You know, like I can't disregard what he's doing.
But he's still a socialist, though.
Kevin.
Okay, what were you saying?
That was in the South. California has never been like that. They were just ignorant people down here. I mean, that like I said, that means absolutely
ignorant people who made it illegal. Who made it to a point where it was illegal to even get married to somebody of.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I appreciate. Listen, I appreciate people like Grant. You have to be successful. Just because you stood next to me in line and you felt the struggle doesn't mean anything. He is keeping from a white background.
It means a lot.
No, it doesn't, because he didn't teach people anything. He didn't provide anybody with anything. He just stood there and said, "Yeah, man, let's march. Yeah, man, let's march." Yeah, man.
That
mean, okay, that does.
Hey, you and Kevin will have the opportunity to yell about this when
Etta James.
The next time we'll be here. The next time,
you guys know who Etta James is, right?
Yeah.
The next time when segregation was going on, she would do the chitlin circuit. Okay.
Right.
A lot of these big name people, like you guys seen Jim Jones, they wouldn't allow her to sing at these expensive clubs because of her color. Marilyn Monroe started sitting in her at her shows and refusing to go to these big restaurants and big club venues because they would not allow her to sing. And because Marilyn Monroe sat with Etta James and sat at her performances at these chitlin circuit clubs and these shacks, they were losing big money because Marilyn wasn't showing her face at these big clubs. So what do? They allowed Etta James to go and perform and start performing in that circuit when it comes to rich people and stuff like that.
So okay, let me ask you this.
On each other,
let me ask you this, because you still don't get it. You still don't get it, because Bernie is of Jewish descent. He gets it, because you have to understand this. They control everything, especially when you talk about the media. The only reason finally let people in is for the dollars. It has nothing to do with we felt better about you. No, they felt just as to about us as they did now, as they do now. Come on, it has nothing to do with we want to be your friends. Everything revolves around the greenback. They realize that, oh my God, these people are coming out to these clubs. They're packing these clubs to the brim.
So let's capitalize on this.
We have the studios, we have the equipment, and guess what? We know how to write crimes to steal.
But had Marilyn not sat down and they had not realized that, then what would have happened? It would have been the same regime.
I repeat, Kevin and Wes will have this opportunity to have the same conversation
on Saturday. Saturday in South Carolina primary. This is the Democratic primary. We'll be here locked in from 6 p.m. and on, trying to get results.
I'll be at the user. I'll probably pop in because I won't be on Saturday.
We also have another event on Sunday, which is the Oscars. So I'll be here starting at around 7, all the way until the finish of the Oscars.
You'll be here at 6.
That'll be pretty interesting. And the next one, the next big one, it's Super Tuesday. It's Super Tuesday on this Tuesday, and that's going to be interesting. I really encourage you guys to come to the Super Tuesday one. That's going to be interesting. There's going to be a whole lot of things being thrown about. We have Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, Colorado, Georgia, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, Vermont, and Virginia.
How do you feel like?
Okay, and on that note, we're gonna say goodnight because Kevin will start back up.
What do you guys feel like? How do you feel about how do you think segregation disappeared or
I'm not doing this again.
Happened?
Oh my God, thank you so much.
I don't understand
DJ Big Dad, thank you so much, Carlos. Thank you so much. Wes, Saeed, all of you guys, thank you so much.
Yeah,
but don't still stay here and let Kevin yell.
Rant your ear off. No, straight up though, I have to agree all things tonight being said, Kevin, Wes, I kind of feel like you guys are on the same like discussion pattern. Like
We are.
you guys are very close in your beliefs.
Yes.
And I think all of us are very close in our beliefs. So if we segregate each other, like we push each other farther away, we'll never be able to fight back. We gotta come together as a people. And personally, I don't know. I'm involved in music. I hope that my music one day becomes something powerful enough to transform the way people think. But at the same time, our voices are more powerful, as powerful as the music, as like DINtv. This opportunity for us to speak. How many other people are out there actually voicing their opinions, getting this stuff out there? Like, we need more people to do this. So tell your friends.
Yes.
Get more people involved. And it's just not DINtv. It's using the social media networks to push the ideas harder that, you know, if things get bad, we need to fight back, man.
And another thing that it's also okay to disagree. And that's totally fine. And that's fair. And that's okay.
Most occurs is in the disagreement. You know, backwards boys, we don't even know how to communicate with each other to get our thoughts out. And that's really the hardest part about why we struggling as a people. Is it feels some people might feel insulted and then you go straight to violence. So then it's back at square one.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to learn how to sit down and at least talk and take the criticism. Because criticism ain't nothing, man.
Yeah.
And I feel that's what I like about DINtv too, because it's like me and Wes, like when we first started, like when we first started, like it was really intense, but it wasn't intense in a sense that we were like screaming at each other. We just like had really strong beliefs that we like just talked about it with each other. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like that's what I like. I like people who like don't believe in their beliefs, but they can articulate what they believe in a way where it's like, oh, okay, well, that's
I didn't
cool
quite think about it like that.
Yeah.
So hey, in that note, I have nothing else to say. Thank you guys for joining us, and remember, Saturday for the Democratic on South Carolina, Sunday for the Oscars, and Tuesday for Tuesday.
Kevin still comes on every day, guys. Kevin will be here tomorrow, right, Kevin?
GreasyGlamours.net.
Always. Always.
Put yourself in the DIN feed so we can see all your social media stuff and follow you guys. And also follow us on Facebook. I put the link on there too for you guys.
I think I might be the only one who don't have any social media.
Yeah, she's the only one without social media.
Don't, girl. Once you start, you can't stop. It's like crack.
All right, you guys have a good night. See you guys soon. Don't forget about us.
Sean, Carl, Tanisha, Ryan, because I see you out there in the queue. And Say, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight, and hopefully we see you guys tomorrow. Okay, I'll be here.
Tell Brian we're gonna figure out how we're gonna fund the space program too. I'm not against it because, like I say, it just has to be incentivized. That's all.
That's a whole new frontier. Like, why not?